What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Another day, another disaster. Spurs out the FA Cup, which we'll get onto in a little bit. I'd ask you to submit your player ratings as the link is pinned to the top of the live chat, so we'll get to see what the fans' opinions are on each and every player from the Villa game. So, yeah, great stuff, eh?
Good day yesterday at the stadium being there.
It's always a good day, man. It's just always a good day ruined by 90 minutes of football.
Good company.
Yeah. Good day.
Players.
You know, spent time with a few different people. It's good to see the faces at Tottenham. And
Sleepy Mocker says, Ben is famous. He was on TV.
yeah, I didn't realise until you told me this morning or just now.
YouTube's not enough for you. You need the TV as well.
Yeah. Had great seats yesterday, to be honest. Really was. It was like bang in the corner of the south and east, as you saw on TV. But yeah, Morgan Rogers and Buendia coming to celebrate right in front of me, which was fantastic.
Great view, though. Great view of their celebration.
But it was like the goalmouth action was all at my end pretty much the whole game, because first half, obviously, Villa were pumping us. Second half, we had all the Spurs action down that end. So, yeah, it was great to see. But well, second half anyway, it was great to see. But look, we're going to start off talking about a Tottenham update, some transfer news, as there's a lot of news coming out about Radu Dragusin over the last 24 hours, as DiMarzio first said that Roma have delivered their first offer to Tottenham for Radu Dragusin based on a loan with an option to buy. And obviously Radu Dragusin's agent, Florian Manea, had to pipe up about it. And he says, I'm waiting for Tottenham to say yes to Roma before we can get to the heart of the matter. Radu has a special bond with Italy and gladiators are happy in Rome. That's what he says. He's shameless, man. This agent is the most shameless agent I've ever seen in my life. However, Alistair Gold reported, I think last night, that Tottenham have rejected a loan move for Radu Dragusin from Rome. So, yeah, Spurs rejecting the offer.
But it goes to show where Dragusin's head's at. What if his agent's trying to push for that move? Clearly, I think he probably wants the move. So, I think it makes sense for him. Doesn't make sense for us, probably not, because we're lacking in depth and we could do with him right now. So, for me, I'm open to him leaving, but it does leave us short for the rest of the season, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not open to him leaving, seeing how we've handled this Brennan Johnson transfer. Brennan Johnson leaves on the 1st of January. We're sitting here still the 11th, and there's no credible links about anyone coming in that position. So I think we need Radu. I don't think we can consider selling him. I just don't.
Well, yeah, it was all loaning him. It's an odd one at the moment, because if he's recovering from that ACL, him sitting on the bench all the time is not going to help him get back to full fitness, is it? And get back up to speed. So from his point of view, if he can just, even if it's 6 months, go somewhere, play 6 months and be ready for next season.
Yeah, look, I get it from his point of view, but unfortunately, I'm not looking at it from his point of view.
But we're getting Sousa. So Davis can be our backup centre back. So we got Danto and Davis.
Yeah.
Which is obviously not as good as Danto and Dragusin.
Exactly.
But, you know, does it make that much of a difference?
Well, you say that, and then suddenly, as soon as we sell him, someone's going to get injured, and we're going to be like, oh, why did we let Dragusin go? So this is just the way it works with Tottenham Hotspur. You know, a lot of people said about Brennan Johnson, oh, yeah, it's the right move to do. He's not good enough for this football club.
Yeah.
And as soon as Brennan goes, Kudus gets injured.
Yeah, but when it comes to Radu, how kind of state is he in? You know, if he's not 100%, if he needs that time to get back to his best, if someone does get injured and he's having to play, how good is he going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Is he going to be better than Ben Davis?
Who knows? So we don't know, but he might be. He might be. I mean, he looked decent. I'm not sure about it because I'm not in the background at Tottenham Hotspur. Clearly, Tottenham want to keep him because they're rejecting offers for him.
Maybe the offers aren't good enough.
Yeah, well, we don't know I don't even know what the obligate. Apparently there's a criteria to be met that it's an option that could turn to an obligation if certain conditions are met. I don't know what they are, but yeah, I just think it's madness to let Radu go without bringing in someone in. I'm open to letting him go, but only if we have someone else.
Yeah, which we're not going to do.
Exactly.
I don't think we're going to sign anyone. But obviously, in the long term, it'll be fine, I think, because obviously Vuskovic, we'll see if he comes back in. But, yeah, No, whatever decision they want to make, I don't know. I don't know if there's a right or wrong decision here, because as I say, I don't know what state Radu's in at the moment with this long injury. He wants to move. It's probably better for him to move, but we also need the cover. But he's not even third choice. He's fourth choice. So from that point of view, I think for him it makes sense to push for it.
Yeah, look, I completely get it from his perspective. Like I said, I'm looking at solely from a Tottenham perspective and from a depth perspective. And we've seen this story before, even with Davinson Sanchez. You know, everyone wanted Sanchez to leave and were quite right to do so. But we let him leave without bringing in a replacement, and then we felt the repercussions of that in that season. So I feel like there's a possibility of that happening if we let Dragoshin go.
I understand that, but as I say, I think it's a different situation. He's back from a big injury, so Sanchez was fully fit at the time. Dragoshin needs the game time.
Yeah,
that's the number one thing.
Yeah,
isn't it? So for him anyway. And so if we have to rely on him when he's not 100% fit, is that a great situation anyway? Would you rather not just put Ben Davies in? I think I'm not saying definitely, but there's an argument to be had. Maybe if we have those injuries, does Davies come in anyway?
Yeah, it's true. It is true, but yeah, look, it's hard to know exactly. Obviously, he's off an ACL. Some people recover quicker and get to match fitness quicker. Some take longer. So we don't know what kind of a player Radu is in terms of his recovery, do we? So it's hard to know, really. But yeah, I think, as someone says in the comments here, the main thing is, if you want to let Radu go, if Radu wants to go, then bloody just bring in a replacement.
Yeah, that'd be my preferable. That'd be my preference. Loan with an obligation and then sign someone. I wouldn't mind doing that. Yeah.
So that's Radu. Let's move on and talk about Richarlison, because this is Richarlison always never wants to shy away, isn't he? Richarlison, and we brought you the news at the back end of last week. Bruno Andrade of ESPN saying that Richarlison wants to leave after the World Cup, and Richarlison took to Instagram to respond to that story, and he said, "Who said that? Fuck off!"
Shutting down those rumours straight from the source.
Wouldn't be the first time either.
No, there's always been constant rumours about Richarlison, and he always plays it down. He's not the first time he's publicly poured cold water on those rumours. As I said, from Richarlison's point of view, I don't think he's getting anywhere better than Tottenham. So maybe it's about Tottenham pushing that narrative in the media to try and stir up some interest, to try and get him a move because they think they can get some money and they want to improve on him.
Yeah.
But from Richarlison's point of view, I can understand from him, he's not going anywhere better than Tottenham, so for him, he's got to make this work. And to be fair, and from his point of view, he's scoring goals this season, so there's no reason right now, I guess, for him to feel like he should move. But now he's on a big injury. He picked up a hamstring injury yesterday, plays into that narrative again with Richarlison that he can't stay fit. We'll see how long he is out for, but again, he pulled up off the ball. Doesn't look great for him, to be honest. So that's only going to play into Tottenham's hands about wanting him to go, because he's a player you can't rely on to stay fit.
I think
he's also been, by the way, saying one of the big successes is keeping Richarlison fit this season.
Well, to be fair, I mean, this is probably the longest stretch he's been fit for a while with Richarlison, and probably the most amount of game time he's had for a long time. But look, with Richarlison, in the summer he goes into his last year of his contract. I don't think Spurs are going to offer him a new one. So, yeah, I think Spurs will try and sell him in the summer to get the most value that they can out of the player. But if they don't, run the risk of losing him for free in a year's time, come the summer. So it's a tricky one with Richarlison, because if he doesn't want to leave, he's well within his rights to stay for that extra year and get that signing on bonus and all that kind of stuff that players like to do in this day and age. So with Richarlison, though, it's just so typical, isn't it? As soon as Dom Solanke's on the bench, his hamstrings are just being like, oh, I feel Dom there. I think they're about to go. I see Dom there.
Let me just wait until I see Dom first, and then I'll go. Because I've been clinging on. It's just one of those things. And it seems like they never fit together, and one in, one out every time with him and Dom. And it's just like clockwork. It's such a odd quirk that's been happening with him. And yeah, look, it doesn't look great, does it? That injury, probably again, that looks like at least a month, I would say. Obviously, we don't know the prognosis, but when you pull up like that, and it's not, and he's struggling, he was limping. It's a horrible one, and he's done so well, as you said, to stay fit this season, and obviously he's been scoring goals. But apparently January was a step too far for him.
Yeah.
So thankfully we have Don back, but again he looked a bit rusty, so he's going to take a bit of time. As expected. So he's going to take a bit of time to get back to his sharpest. So, but with Rishi, I mean, from his point of view, in terms of the club the clubs you're talking about being in for him, they're going to be in for him in a year's time, aren't they? Those kind of clubs.
Probably, yeah.
So why rush to leave from his point of view?
Yeah, at the end of the day, probably. I reckon he'll have a pick of a host of clubs that'll be in for him on a free transfer.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
So
I'm saying especially those kind of clubs.
Yeah, I do think Spurs will try and sell him in the summer, but I don't think we'll be successful in it, and we'll probably see one more year.
Unless we take a hit like we have done with Brennan, maybe we could take a cheaper deal.
Yeah, but it's all about him accepting the offer as well. What kind of offers come in? And then if he knows, if he hangs tight, he'll probably get better wages, better signing on fee, and who knows, it might be a better club, who knows. So that's Richarlison. Let's talk about Antonin Kinski now, because Fabrizio Romano says that West Ham looking at Antonin Kinski. Now, L'Equipe are saying that Auxerre would like to take Antonin Kinski on a loan for the rest of the season. The player is not opposed to the idea, sensing the opportunity to gain some playing time. Obviously, we're at the FA Cup now, so that limits his game time even more if we were gonna come up against like kind of lower league opposition or something. He's not going to get any minutes in the Champions League, let's be honest. So unless there's an injury to Vicario, he's going to be on the bench for the rest of the season.
To me, it sounds like his agent trying to drum up some interest. That's what it looks like to me. He's putting out names out there, and he's also putting out the fact that Kinski's open to a move. I don't think that's a coincidence. So I think they're trying to engineer something. They're trying to get the ball rolling here. I think he wants to leave. Obviously, when he came in, he did play quite a bit last season, but I reckon, because he was obviously starting for Slavia Prague as a young keeper, and I think he came in with assurances that he'll get some game time, and they haven't been met, I think.
Yeah, look, he did get some game time last season.
He did, but as soon as Vicario was back, he was out.
Yeah. Which is the right decision.
I'm not saying it's the wrong decision. I'm just saying from his point of view, he doesn't care whether it's right or wrong. He wants game time.
Yeah.
And I think he was given those assurances. I reckon maybe he thought he'd play a bit more this season, maybe some Champions League games or whatever. He hasn't. And I think he's got the point now where it's been enough time, and he thinks, all right, if I'm not going to play here, whether it be alone or whatever, I just want to play. And he's a young keeper; he needs the game time, he needs that experience. So I understand it. I think there's clearly a good keeper potential in there, but is he ready to be number one in the Premier League? No. I think he's got a lot of work to do. There's some good things. There's some things he does really good, with the ball at his feet and stuff. And I think from set pieces as well, he was starting to do some good stuff. But there's clearly some stuff he needs to really work on, like his shot stopping. So yeah. I wouldn't mind a loan, but again, that leaves us short again. From his point of view, I can understand it. From our point of view, we need him in case for an injury, because can we rely on Brandon? But then again, Brandon's done all right when he has come in, to be fair. So maybe it is worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more open to this than I am to Radu. However, which again, it's just Tottenham's luck. We let him go on a loan, and Vicario gets another injury.
Yeah. Oh, but some people suggest some suggestions. Maybe do we let Kinski go and then sign a number one keeper and put Vicario on the bench?
I wouldn't be against that.
I just don't see that happening in January.
No, me neither. Again, like, we've got so many problems. Are we gonna, make changes to cause ourselves another problem?
And Vic ain't staying to be number two, I don't think.
No, I mean, he might not have a choice if we do it on the 31st January.
I'm saying, but he'll engineer a move, won't he?
Yeah. But I think the plan probably is to try and change the goalkeeper situation in the summer anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's that. And last but not least, our favourite publication, Fichajes, are claiming that Tottenham have made a £52 million bid for Real Madrid forward Brahim Díaz on the back of his unbelievable form at the AFCON. He has scored in every single game in the AFCON so far this season. And, Morocco are now in the semi-finals. He's on some form for Morocco in this tournament. Not getting too much of a look in at Real Madrid this season. 12 games, 3 starts, the rest of them all off the bench. Last season, he played a big part in Real Madrid's season last year. Played 31 games, but only 12 starts. So he's clearly a player that Real Madrid, he's not getting too much of a look in there. Yeah,
and he comes in and starts straight away, especially with Kudus being out injured. He would slot straight in and guarantee game time. I really like Brahim Díaz. I think he's a really good player. I think Madrid, he's not Madrid level, so I understand why he's struggling for game time. Obviously, the talent there is ridiculous. So he's not elite of the elite, but is he is he a very good player who would get a lot of game time and fit right in at Tottenham and probably be right now our best winger, 100%. I think he's got a lot of quality. I think he's got a really good left foot. What only caveat would be, again, similar to like some of our other players, physicality. Is he ready for the Premier League? We'll only truly know. But I think he can do it in the Premier League. I don't see any reason why not. Is he a more of a short-term thing than a long-term probably player to have? I would say so. Maybe in like 2-3 years we probably look to upgrade. But you know what? I'll take him right now because we're desperate for attacking talent. And if someone like him is available and willing to come, I think it would be stupid to turn our nose up at him because I think he's a good player. Yeah. So I would take him.
Yeah. Cantab says in the comments here, a loan maybe. If we could do a loan with an option to buy till the end of the season, I think that would be some good value for Spurs.
Yeah, I would definitely take
if Real Madrid are willing to do that.
And also makes sense because if Frank leaves or whatever and we're not sure about him, then we're not going to be stuck with him. So a loan with an option to buy. I think it depends if Madrid are willing to do it. They do have depth, don't they? Gula's there as well. They've got all those forward. Rodrigo, if he's staying. Vinicius,
Rodrigo's starting to really come into the season now as well for Real Madrid.
Yeah, which doesn't surprise me. So if they're open to a loan and he's willing to come, the only thing is I'm worried like someone even better than us, like let's say Liverpool. I wouldn't be surprised if they're interested or something because they need a winger. They missed out on Semenyo or other clubs. So I think it would be good if we can get ahead of the competition. But look, this is Richarlison, so I doubt we've even made a bid.
Yeah. So look, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below, would you like to see Brahim and Díaz at Spurs in the January transfer window? And let's be honest, there's no real credible links to any wingers right now. So I think we got to just take what we can get right now. That's the honest truth.
Brahim.
So I would take him for sure. And on the back of his AFCON form, has probably raised his value a little bit. So that's that one. All right. So that is the Tottenham update. And next we are going to get into a game of football that was played last night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It finished Villa 2, Tottenham 1. Spurs crash out the FA Cup. I was there last night and it was such a weird... It was weird because there was this whole initiative for the atmosphere yesterday. So I bought tickets in accordance to that. Block 250 in the southeast corner. The drummer was literally like 4 rows in front of me. Apparently they had microphones on the drum that they were testing out before the game, and during the game apparently they forgot to turn the microphones on. So
oh really?
That's what I heard. So I mean, I heard the drum loud and clear, but apparently it wasn't as loud as it was supposed to be. So that was very frustrating.
Do you like that microphone on the drum? You're happy with that?
I mean, I
remember they had in the Wembley they had drum noise.
Yeah, that's just awful. That's just awful. If it comes across as authentic, then I don't really mind it. But obviously, it's a bigger stadium. The drum at White Hart Lane didn't need a microphone because the stadium was so enclosed and a lot smaller than the new stadium. If that's what it needs to get the noise around the stadium, I don't mind it too much as long as it comes across as authentic. That's just what it comes down to, I think.
But you're saying so you didn't really get the crowd going and wasn't quite work.
Well, the fans always respond to the way the team play, let's be honest. So before the game, I thought the atmosphere was a bit strange. In the concourse area where people gather, and it's usually popping off there before the game. So the drummer was there, I was there, and a few fans were trying to get it going, but there was a massive gap in the concourse. No one was really putting themselves in the middle to actually get the atmosphere going. So it was a very strange dynamic.
People just on the stairs and up top.
And then down there, it was like everyone was just standing around the sides. Like it felt like just waiting for people to go in and start to make the atmosphere. And I was in the middle there with a few other people, like literally 5 of us in the middle there trying to get songs going. And songs were getting going, but it just wasn't the same as what we've seen maybe in previous games. But yeah, atmosphere was a bit strange. Once we got into the stadium and into the bowl, the atmosphere just didn't really get going in the first half.
And the second half.
No, I'm just talking about the first half.
Oh, you're saying the first half was bad, right?
First half, yeah. I mean, there were fans trying to sing, and a few songs got going, but it wasn't that kind of electric atmosphere.
Yeah, first half, yeah, you're right. Didn't sound well, especially after we went 1-0 down. It was, I think, as well. You could tell. We didn't start great. Villa were just dominating. popping the ball around, and we were just chasing shadows, weren't we? And I think that probably led to a lot of anxiety. Basically, we're just like, when are we going to concede at this point?
Yeah, that's what we were waiting for. We're waiting to die that whole of that first half. And all the problems that we saw in the first half in terms of it looked like a lack of energy, a lack of desire, a lack of ability to go forward. Just basically all the problems that we've seen all season were there in the first half.
And in the first half, when you're talking about the fans, there was a couple of chants that got a lot of attention. First of all, Tottenham fans singing "You're getting sacked in the morning." So how did that come about?
So I don't know how it came about, but it felt like it was just off the cuff. But then someone told me that it started off in the Villa end, which I wasn't aware of, and then it kind of filtered into the Tottenham end, and the Tottenham fans kind of joined in on it. It didn't last long. It was literally like maybe one round or 2 rounds of the song, then it kind of died out pretty quickly. But it was very evident, and to see like a large section of the Spurs South stand were singing it. And just before they started singing that as well, there were quite a few people around me singing "He's Magic, you know." Pochettino. And
which the last time I remember that being...
Bro, it happens under every manager. Every manager. I think apart from Mourinho, it happened under Conte, probably happened under Nuno. It happened, you know what I mean? Every manager gets this same kind of weird thing where Spurs are just chanting for their manager that they had 10 years ago.
100%. Which, clearly we're not over him. That's obvious. So they were singing that. How did you feel about them singing that, by the way? Were you agreeing with it? Did you care about it? Would you disagree with it?
I just thought it was funny because it's like this. It's like clockwork. Every time a manager's struggling.
No, sorry. Sorry, you gone.
Every time a manager's struggling, you hear the chants of Pochettino. I mean,
I meant the other chant. He's getting sacked in the morning.
Oh no, I didn't. I don't agree with this. Like I've said it countless times. Like I prefer just to support the team through the 90 minutes and then make your voices heard of your discontent and everything after the game and everything like that. So it's not something I agree with.
Was it 2-0 at that point or 1-0?
I think it was 2-0.
It was 2-0, so right at the end.
I think it was 2-0 right at the end. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
there was reports of Tottenham fans, again, similar to what you're saying, Villa fans starting and Tottenham fans joining in they were seeing Thomas Franks, an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, I didn't hear that at all.
I think there's a video somewhere.
So... yeah, the first I heard of it was when I heard about it on social media after the game, that Villa fans were singing it. I haven't heard that Spurs fans were singing it.
I heard, maybe you're right. Maybe it was just Villa fans. I read somewhere that Spurs fans were joining in. But this is what we were talking about before. If Tottenham fans were joining in, that image of him holding the Arsenal Cup is going to be his lasting image as Tottenham manager, and it's already now getting filtered into the ground of jokes and banter. And as much as it is obviously just a joke, but that's going to be his lasting kind of memory if he does end up getting sacked shortly, of him holding an Arsenal Cup, and that's like what he's going to be synonymous with at this point. And also, Ali Gold was saying there's a chant that just is taken hold now. I don't know if they were chanting it yesterday, sideways and backwards, everywhere we go.
So that's a chant that I think it's Birmingham fans or some fans in the Championship that started a few weeks ago that, made a lot of noise in social media and got shared around quite a lot. Spurs fans got it going at Bournemouth. It was the first time I heard it.
Didn't hear it yesterday, though.
Didn't hear it yesterday, no.
Okay. Boring Tottenham.
So that was from the Brentford game, I think it was. But again, didn't hear that yesterday.
Okay.
So yesterday, the only kind of chance noteworthy in terms of that kind of situation I heard was the getting sacked in the morning.
And when you talk about a boo-o-meter at half-time, where does it rank? Deafening? So kind of
it was loud.
Half-assed?
No, not the loudest I've ever heard, but pretty loud. At the end of the day, look, at half-time, we're pretty much out the FA Cup. That's just what it was, and everyone's just so deflated. For me, it was like that goal, that Morgan Rogers goal in the 3rd minute of stoppage time at half-time, that was just a killer blow, man. Because as much as how poor we were, at 1-0, you're still in the game.
Of course.
At 2-0, it makes it a big mountain to climb. So I was just saying, let's just get into half-time 1-0 down, and we couldn't even do that. Then obviously we had that goal ruled out just before, and you're thinking, all right, Spurs can mount some pressure here. But that first half was a disgrace. It really was a disgrace. We had no fundamentals in our game. The players, no one looked like they wanted it. I thought there were poor performances all over the pitch. The midfield was getting dominated, and Paulinho and Gray were chasing shadows in that first half. And I don't remember one good thing we did in that first half.
The only good thing I remember was Xavi made that run, which obviously was offside for Moani.
Yeah. And it was offside. So,
but that showed again, and he did that in the second half a few times. Like, we need to start getting Xavi involved a lot more. Like, he's got so much quality, and we saw that in that little flutter in the first half. But as you say, we were getting torn apart, weren't we?
Yeah,
getting torn apart.
Absolutely.
The 2 goals were just brilliant team goals. I mean, as much as Spurs screwed up, especially for the second goal, Tell gave it away, and all of a sudden within a few seconds we're 2-0 down. But you've got to say, look at the passing, look at the moving. Tielemans in that first goal, just right through the centre of our team, and they're just bam, 1, 2, 3 passes in on our goal, and it's 1-0. Same with the second goal. Tell gives it away, bam, 1, 2, 3 quick passes, 2-0, and sharp, quick interchanges, direct as well. It's like he basically playing like the team we wish we were, and it was tough to watch. Just Tottenham, and also this was a Villa team resting Watkins, Tielemans as well, who obviously didn't start. Like, they made some changes. This wasn't them. Martinez as well wasn't playing, so they had made some changes in their team, and they were just popping it around us like no tomorrow. And I understand we've got injuries at the moment, so it's got to be taken into account. But the way we were just outclassed, and then the second half, it was just a different story. It was like we came out flying. So, and the way some of the football we were playing that second half as well was so much better.
I said last night, the first half is basically, when you go watch Tottenham play at home, is everything that you don't want to see when you go to the game. Atmosphere, struggling to get going, players look like they can't be arsed, tactics nowhere to be seen to kind of help the team and drive the team forward. Like, there was nothing in that first half. But the second half was everything that you want to see a Tottenham home team do. And that left me feeling more pissed off than anything else watching that second half, because I'm just saying, like, why does it take for us to go 2-0 down to perform like that? Like, Spurs were brilliant, like, particularly in the opening 15 minutes of the second half. We came out on absolute fire. We were tearing Villa to shreds. Paulinho was, a beast in the middle of the park, and Odebear was asking so many questions down that right-hand side. Muani was getting himself involved. Tell was doing bits and pieces down the left-hand side. It's just like everyone seemed like, and the fans as well, after feeling so off it with the fan base in the first half, in the second half, the songs were going throughout the half. We were cheering every tackle, cheering every shot. And it was like, all right, I felt like I'm at a Spurs game in that second half, where it's just like so different from first half to second half. It was actually crazy.
Yeah, we were really upped our intensity, which was the main thing. We were just winning the ball back in such dangerous areas, and nearly made it pay, really. Obviously, the goal was Moani barging Bogard off the ball and playing it into Odebear for a really nice finish. And all the chances really recreated. Xavi had a shot because Paulinho wins it on the edge of the box. Xavi then, straight after the goal, gets another shot because Tell wins it again high up the pitch. So all of a sudden, that pressing was that intensity, that intent to go after Villa was there for all to see. In that it only really lasted 15-20 minutes, but for that period, we were right on top of them, and it looked like we were going to equalise. And I thought the link-up play between the front players was so much better. They were combining, and all of a sudden they were finding pockets of space. We were playing centrally as well. Xavi was wriggling away from his man.
He was fantastic.
He was finding little passes. He was, all of a sudden they couldn't deal with him. They had to either foul him or he was doing something. I thought Tell all of a sudden was lively. Odebear became alive. Paulinho, as you say, was a bit of a Roy of the Rovers kind of stuff. He just kind of took the game by the scruff of the neck. Was taking no prisoners in that second half. I felt he was just putting all these strong challenges in, and he was all of a sudden, that his strength and aggression was something that was dominating in the middle, which it wasn't in the first half. And I just, Van der Ven said in an interview, words were said between the players at half-time, and they came out in that way.
This happens every game. Every game, words are said with each other at half-time. Like, go at it from the first minute, and like, don't wait till the game has drifted you by to produce this on the pitch. It drives me insane. Like, literally, at the end of the game, we were brilliant for parts of that second half, but why does it have to take so long for us to get in that mode?
So that's a big debate at the moment about what led to us being like that in the second half. Some people are saying, was it Frank who changed anything that second half? Was it just because we're 2-0 down and basically got to go Hail Mary and just go for them because we're out the FA Cup, and it's also an FA Cup game, so it's either you win or you lose. You just got to go for it at that point when you've got nothing to lose. Was it the players that kind of led that charge to go for it? Was it something the manager did? Does Frank get credit for how he tried to turn it around in the second half? Is it the players that why we started the first half so sluggish, or was it Frank's instructions to kind of contain Villa and think about what Villa are doing rather than focusing ourselves? Like, what do you think that is causing that? What would you say? Do you think, did they abandon what Frank's instructions were in that second half and just go for it, or was it Frank? Is that how we do want to play usually in that second half? That should be the norm? Because at the moment, how we played in that second half is the exception rather than the rule. The rule is more like how we played in the first half, but if we play more like we did in the second half, fans are going to be more on board with it. So what is the answer?
It's really hard to know and really hard to get your head around, to be honest, because, look, the way the first half went, we've seen that so many times this season, like so many times. So it's hard to kind of sit here and say that's not the way that Frank set us up. But on the flip side of that, you did see players on that pitch in the first half, just they looked like they couldn't be asked. That's what it felt like. So I think it's a mixture of both. I think it's a mixture of Frank's tactics, maybe the players not believing in it, and then at half time, once the game's pretty much done, Frank's probably like, all right, just let's go for it. Let's take the shackles off and let's give it to him. And the players probably buy into that and be like, yeah, let's play some attacking football and try get this game back. But in terms of the question of does Frank get praise for the way he nearly for the way he nearly turned the game around? No, not for me. Like, how can you get credit when that first half happened? You can't just forget the first half happened, in my opinion. And if we go into every game, let's pretend we're 2-0 down at the start of every game and actually go for it. We'd actually win a lot more games, and the football would be a lot more tolerable than it is now. So the game was lost in the first half. The game was pretty much lost. So as much as we were good in the second half and we nearly turned it around, like, I can't forgive that first half performances, because that's pretty much killed our season.
Yeah, and it was it's a massive game for me yesterday to keep belief in this season or anything alive, because that's obviously pretty much on its final kind of legs at the moment, on the last kind of strings. And I think yesterday, for a lot of people, it might have killed anything interest left in this season now out the FA Cup. Obviously there's still Champions League, we're still in the league. It's a weird situation, we're not in a good position, but there's still like everything to play for really in terms of the points. But the longer the games go on, the further we're getting away. That's the problem at the moment. But yeah, I agree, like, as much as we did play well in that for parts of that second half, I just I don't know if I'm going to give Frank too much credit for that, because again, it's the exception, it's not the rule. It's all well and good saying that's how he wants to play, but why don't we see that too often? We're now, again, this isn't a few weeks into his tenure now. This is 6 months coming in on 7 months, and he had a pre-season to implement all these things. This isn't like coming in mid-season and he's had no time on the training ground. Like, he's had time to drill it into these players now. He's had like enough time to start implementing his ideas, and the fact that now we're still like seeing these performances like we do in the first half, I just feel like in the first half he's too focused on what Villa are doing. He's too focused on stopping them, and then he abandoned that in the second half and just went for it. And I think it showed in the second half what these players are capable of. It wasn't like incredible, it wasn't like world class, but it showed they've got so much more to give, so much more. If we were seeing that kind of football week in, week out, seeing what these attacking players are capable of, I think people would not be saying how bad these attackers are and they're so awful and they can't do anything. Like, they clearly can. Like Xavi yesterday, it's so clear that he's so capable of so much more than what we've seen from him this season. He's got so many more levels to go. And I think, for me, it's just how we've been set up, how we've been playing, has not been getting the best out of him whatsoever. And as soon as we were playing through him, and we were getting him on the ball in central areas and getting him in dangerous positions and getting players around him as well, getting little interchanges, he became like a new player. He became, all of a sudden, he was like, it was night and day. And what was so perplexing is, he was running the game, and then he takes him out the centre and puts him out wide. Like, for the last bit of the game.
10 minutes, yeah.
Didn't understand that. Last 12 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Didn't understand that. Why are you changing it up?
But Frank's changes in the last 10 minutes took any sort. Look, the momentum was dying out already before then, and we needed changes. But the changes he made, I think, just took all momentum and wind out of our sails. You know, to bring on Dane Scarlett for Matty's tell. Dane Scarlett did nothing when he came on. I hardly noticed he was on the pitch, to be honest. He puts Javi on the left. It's just like, we did nothing in those last 10 minutes because of, in my opinion, the tactical changes that Frank made. Yeah,
he put Scarlett on the right wing for the last bit of the game as well. He played Moani and Solanke up front. He put Tell on the left. It just didn't work. It didn't work whatsoever. And Villa actually saw out the game fairly comfortably in the last bit of the game. And from it looked like we were going after them. Maybe it was because, you know, we put a lot of energy in those 20 minutes and we just couldn't keep up for the whole half. Maybe that's the case, and we are thin on the ground at the moment when it comes to squad and changes. So I have some sympathy there, but in terms of his changes trying to enact on the game, it completely went the opposite way.
Yeah, and this is just Spurs at the moment, isn't it? Because, like, we're seeing good play starting to creep into our game in fits and spurts, like nothing consistent, where the first 15, 20 minutes or whatever it was of the second half yesterday. Last time against Bournemouth, I thought the first 15 minutes and the last 15 minutes, you know, you saw some decent play from Spurs. The Sunderland game, there was some decent play in the first half as well. So, like, you are starting to see it a little bit come through. So maybe that is what he wants to do, but it's just too few and far between for me. And, like, yesterday, it's a cup game. You have to go hell for leather from the first minute. Otherwise, you run the risk of the game drifting you by. And that's exactly what happened in the game yesterday. You know, with this whole initiative with the fans, and you want to take the fans with you and bring them into the game. Like, they didn't do that in the first half. And that's why it was such a drab atmosphere. They did it in the second half, and the fans duly delivered. And the atmosphere was rocking in that stadium for the second half. But you've got to start the game fast if you want to do that, and to go 1-0 down and then 2-0 down just before half time, it just knocked the wind out of our sails, and it left us with way too much to do. And look, I say it left us with way too much to do. We could have got back in that game if we finished some of our chances, if some players held their run a bit more. You know, we had enough chances to get back into that game, but unfortunately, just the first half did it for us.
And also, you know, there's also a case to say, was it just Villa naturally dropping off at 2-0 up?
They did give us a lot of room and a lot of space to operate in.
There's also something to say about that. Maybe at 2-0, they gave us too much encouragement. And then actually, as well, when Unai made the changes, I think he brought on Watkins, he brought on Sancho. I think that gave them a bit of a second wind as well and allowed them to keep the ball up a bit more. And Watkins was holding the ball up much better. And I think that led to them just being a lot more comfortable. And obviously, our frustration boiled over right at the end of the game. I also think there was quite interesting going on at corners, because we will have corners. Villa did something very deliberate, which was leaving 3 players on the halfway line, which meant 3 Spurs players had to drop back, and that led to the corner penalty area being a lot less congested, and I think that helped Aston Villa defend the corners. But from that point, especially, there was one point late in the game where we had a corner and they did the same thing, and we again left 3 back. But it's like, at that point, like, if they're going to do that, then you leave someone in there who's going to be free, and you ask them the question. Why continue to be so pragmatic and think about what Villa are doing, right? And just basically, you're playing into their hand. They're doing something to make you react. So maybe at that point, especially when we're behind, don't do that. Maybe actually be brave. And leave a man in there, risk, obviously, a counter-attack, but they're risking you having a free man from a corner, right? So what they're going to do in that situation is they're going to drop one back, right? Because they can't leave you free there. It'd be stupid to. Maybe they can, but it's a risk either way. But you've got to play that game. You've got to make them.
At what moment in the game was that?
I can't remember exactly.
What, last 10 minutes?
It was late in the game at some point in the second half.
Because then, like, you've got two sides of that, right? So obviously you've got what everyone throws at Frank being too risk averse and everything like that, and it's fair enough to dare us to do and all that, and that's our motto. We should live up by it, and particularly when we need a goal, let's overload the box and have a few extra men in the box and see what can come from it. However, if there's still enough time, if there's a significant time left in the game and you do that, and they've got 3 men on the counter attack and they score it, everyone's going to be saying, oh, why did we leave 3 men on the other side of the pitch without any defenders there when there was still time to get back in the game? You know what I mean? So there's two sides of it, isn't there?
Yeah, but I just think when you're behind, you've got to be brave. You got to do things. And also, what I'm saying is they would have to react to that. I would think if you just allowed them to have that player up there, they would have to drop one back if you don't play that game. You make them think. Instead, you're there. My point is that Emery is doing something to make us think, and we're reacting to it. That's what we're constantly doing, it feels like, just reacting to the other team. We should be doing things to make them think about what we're doing, like make them change what we're doing, and we're not doing that enough. Yeah. And that's my issue.
Yeah, fair enough.
Reactive all the time. But yeah, scenes at the end. Was Paulinho.
Seems like every game now.
Everything's boiling over. What do you think? Is this the frustration of the players because of the general situation boiling over? Are there just individual incidences happening every game which you can't account for? Is there a general kind of feeling of something happening within this squad that they can't really control their emotions because of what's happening?
Well, I think they're two very different situations, the Bournemouth one and this one. The Bournemouth one, I think that Mickey should not be coming over to the away fans like that. I think whatever's being said, they're professional footballers, and you deal with part and parcel of the game. And unfortunately, whether you like it or not, that kind of stuff being shouted at from fans, whether it be one fan or whatever, which it looked like it was just 1 or 2 fans, like whatever, you ignore it and walk away. That's what Mickey should have done, in my opinion, instead of causing a scene. This one, Ollie Watkins clearly is trying to provoke João Palhinha. He's going over to his away fans, but he changes his direction to walk straight in front of João Palhinha to goad him a little bit. And obviously João Palhinha was being very aggressive in that second half, and the Villa players probably were sick to the sight of him by the end of the half. Where he was everywhere, he was performing really well. So João Palhinha obviously had that aggressive edge to him, and he snapped when Ollie Watkins kind of celebrated right in front of his face. So, yeah, I think Ollie Watkins was trying to get a reaction out of him, in my opinion, and João Palhinha duly delivered it.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's these I know those two incidences are different, but we're now seeing things happen after games consistently, it seems, at the moment.
Yeah, it's 2 times.
No, but not just that. We had Van der Ven and Spence walking off after Frank, after not clapping the fans. We had Porro and Bergvall getting into an argument when Bergvall was going to clap the fans, and they were starting shouting at each other. We've had just various incidences now during the last couple months, really, of players showing or either emotions boiling over, or players showing their displeasure, or players battling with fans, or whatever it is. There's lots of things always constantly going on, kind of in the dressing room or with these players at the moment, publicly after defeats or after bad results. So, what do we think is going on there? Like, is it because there's this feeling in the dressing room at the moment of frustration, and they can't really contain their emotions at the moment? It seems it seems as though they are letting it boil over after these games. And why is that happening? What's causing that? Is it just a situation? Where is the frustration? Is it with themselves? Is it with the manager? What is going on there? There's clearly something not going wrong with them.
I don't think you can point your finger to any one reason. I think it's a multitude of reasons, from where we are in the league, how we're playing our football, the tactics that we've got, personal players and players maybe not performing to their highest level as well. I think there's just so much going on, and on top of that, you've got the fans and the way the Spurs fans are reacting to each and every different situation right now, and they clearly feel the pressure from the fans. You know, you've seen that that article regarding Wilson Odobert, that Ali Gold, I think it was Ali Gold or someone was saying, you know, how he's frightened to try things at home because of the fear of a backlash or something like that. So, you know, I think it's a whole multitude of issues that is just making it a very toxic environment. That's the reality. So I don't think you can pinpoint one thing that's making this happen.
Were there were boos at half full time?
Yeah, there were boos at full time.
Was it louder at half time or full time?
I felt they were louder at half time.
Half time, yeah. Because there was a lot of people in the comments yesterday saying, you know, if we do lose this, we shouldn't boo because it's been a spirited second half. But then we did die out a bit in the last exchanges, so it wasn't like we went right to the end. It
wasn't crazy boos at full time. It was half time was a lot louder in my opinion. But the reality is, whatever you want to say about a spirited performances, we're at the FA Cup.
Yeah,
we need a miracle for this season to be alive in any sort of way. So it's hard for anyone to take that second half and being like, you know, and take something positive from it, because the outlook of the story, the outlook of the season just looks so bleak right now. You know, out both domestic cups, still in the Champions League, but, you know, Champions League is the Champions League. We're sitting, what, 12th, 13th? 14th in the league table, and are struggling for any sort of consistency. Players getting injured every single game. As every game passes, the numbers decrease pretty much every week. So, yeah, it's hard to look at.
And also no kind of not looking like getting a signing anytime soon. I know we're getting the left back, but in terms of real signings that can help the first team in the forward line, no real sign of them at the moment.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's just very, very frustrating.
They're saying, I mean, again, it's only ITK rumours. When it comes to real reporting about Frank and his job security, there's not really anyone suggesting he's under pressure or he's on the last legs or anything like that. All the talk is kind of coming from the fans, a bit similar to last season. We did get a few reports about, I think at this stage last season, we were getting constant reports from the media saying Ange is safe, and his job is not under threat. We're not even getting those reports at the moment from the media about Frank. So that kind of tells me is it even being discussed that they're whether they should keep him or not. There's a lot of ITKs, and whether you want to believe them or not, saying, oh, he is under pressure, and, you know, West Ham is a must-win game. But, like, do you think that, you know, he is in serious danger right now? Just forget, obviously the fans, clearly, I think the fans have lost faith in him. It seems as though the majority want him out. They want to change. What that change looks like, I don't know in terms of personnel, but it seems as though no one really believes at the moment that this guy's the right fit for Tottenham Hotspur, and that's fair enough. But from a board level and from the hierarchy level, there doesn't seem to be any kind of suggestion that there's going to be a change.
But I think there's a general sentiment in the fan base as well, being like, well, yeah, he might not be the right man for the job, but what do we do if we sack him? Like, that's a big question mark. Like, what do we do if we sack him? I've seen rumours of potentially Carrick interim from now to the end of the season. Ryan Mason is obviously out of a job right now. It's just like, what do you do if you end up sacking Frank? But in terms of what the board are thinking and how the board are thinking, I mean, I've said it all along. I think they're going to give him till the end of the season regardless.
There's rumours that it's split.
Yeah, there are rumours it's split. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's split. Apparently it was split on Ange as well. So...
But it's a bit of a weird situation, because obviously when beforehand we had Levy and we knew that he ended up making the final decision, didn't he? The buck stopped with him.
Yeah.
They had a boardroom and they had the discussions, but he was the one making that decision. Who is it now making the decision? Is it made by a committee?
It's a committee, and I think the head of
unanimous decision.
I don't know, but I think the head of the committee are Vinay, Lange, and Fabio. Is Fabio even still here?
So is the Lewis family not involved in that?
I don't think they're involved in footballing decisions.
So they just leave that completely. So all three of them have to have an agreement to make the decision?
I guess so. Or maybe it's a 2v1 thing. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows, mate? Who knows what is going on?
So it's hard to know who to hold accountable for backing him or sacking him, really, when it comes to this hierarchy. Is it a case of you just need one person to have that decision power? Because at the moment, like who is making that decision? Like maybe they're pawning off to each other, and they're just everyone's failing to make a decision.
The problem is that you've got two people in that committee in Vinay and Lange. Lange has obviously got close ties to Thomas Frank. They've worked with each other in the past. They're both Danish and whatever. You've got Vinay, who's got the whole Arteta thing behind him, and he's trying to replicate that, and he's trying to give it every single chance to make it work through thick, through thin. And whether you think that, look, it might be the right decision, it might be the wrong decision, but right now there's no evidence to suggest that he can do a Mikel Arteta and completely turn it around and revamp it. But that's what he wants to do. So it feels like Vinay could be hanging his hat on backing the wrong man. That's what it feels like right now. Whether that's still the case at the end of the season, I think there'll be a big review at the end of the season, and I think if it carries on in the similar manner, he won't be here past the summer. But I was thinking about this a lot yesterday, and I saw a tweet that just made so much sense to me about Johan Lang. I don't know if you saw it. It's just like, as soon as Johan Lang left Villa, they started to go up. When Johan Lang was actually part of the Villa recruitment team and their sporting director, they were just dropping like a fly. They were going down and down and down and down through that whole Steven Gerrard thing and everything. Yeah. As soon as they sacked him, they started to rise and actually starting to make good transfer decisions and bring good players in. I think he left soon after Unai came in.
Lange leaves Villa. Let me see a date on that.
But I'm talking about player recruitment here.
October 2020. Yeah. So Vinay came in.
Lang.
Sorry, Lang came, I'm trying to when Unai came in, when Gerrard got sacked, which was in 2022. So he was there for a bit, not too long,
But he left soon after Unai came in, I think, was the thing. And as soon as Lang comes in, Spurs just got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, what are we doing here with this Johan Lang geezer? Like, who is he, and what credibility does he have to have the job he has at Tottenham Hotspur to be a key decision maker?
I don't know.
Like, seriously.
And there's also rumours that we've heard that Fabio wants Frank gone. So is it a case of Vinay and Lang want him to stay, and Fabio wants him gone? And yet who's the one there with the most footballing experience and the ones that we should be trusting in that in that boardroom?
To be fair, though, you have said in the past that you don't trust Fabio with the manager situation.
Yeah, he's absolutely right as well. But when he came to sacking Nuno, he was spot on about that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe hiring manager, I don't trust him, but firing, maybe I do.
Yeah. Was he involved in sacking Conte?
I think that was mutual.
Yeah, true.
To be honest, I think Conte wanted out, and I think Fabio was a big part of why he came, and I think Fabio really wanted it to work. But I doubt. I think if it was up to Fabio, he would have just backed him fully. But I don't know. Look, we don't know for sure. But my point being is, I think there's a good chance you need a unanimous decision, and I think Vinay and Lang might be the ones backing Frank, and Fabio might want him gone.
Yeah.
And in that situation, are we happy with that situation as fans? That those two are the ones that are kind of keeping him in a job, whereas Fabio is the one who's not being listened to.
It's just hard to trust these guys, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to, particularly. Look, Vinay, we all know of his past, used to be on the board at Arsenal and everything like that, and he comes in straight away and he's like, I want to get the communication from the club to the fans a lot better, and he's like so prevalent on social media and doing all these posts on YouTube and Twitter and whatever when things are good. When's the last time we heard from him, by the way?
Yeah, since what?
When's
September?
the last time we heard from Vinay? Where's this constant communication that we've heard of from board to fans that has been so missing over the past couple of years or the past 25 years? Where's this communication now when things are bad? Because I haven't heard from him.
I guess the problem would be if he keeps speaking whenever we're lost. Is it a kind of a situation where he's giving that dreaded vote of confidence?
But it feels like he only wants to speak when things are good. And, it's very well. He's given us a scarf. Yesterday, he gave all season ticket holders a pin badge.
Did he?
Yep.
Oh, lovely.
Which I didn't get one, by the way, because the queue was too long in the Spurs shop. I couldn't be asked to queue up. But he's given us a scarf at Nottingham Forest. He's given us a scarf at Bodo. And pretty much since the beginning of the season, we haven't heard a word from him. And we're sitting here in the transfer window. No signings, no links, only a 19-year-old kid coming through the door. and we haven't heard a peep from him. So much for this better communication.
Did he slip the Arsenal Cup to Frank?
So I heard it was Cochrane.
Cochrane's the one. Yeah, I agree. I think that was one of the big things he marketed himself on and what he's great at. And at the moment, as well, they haven't fulfilled what they were saying they did at the beginning of the season, which was we've brought in Frank because we want more sustainable results and we want to compete on all four fronts, and we think this football is going to be on the way to doing that. Well,
on the way is the key word there.
Huh?
I don't think it was ever supposed to be a short-term thing where this season we were going to compete on all four fronts.
I don't think we're supposed to be competing for the Prem and the Champions League this season. I agree with that, but of course this season was supposed to be an improvement. We are supposed to be competing for more competitions this season in the short term. The league position was supposed to stabilise, which hasn't really. We were supposed to be maybe have some more cup runs. Obviously, the Champions League we don't know yet because that's still going on, but we're not in a bad position in the Champions League, I guess. But of course, they brought in to do it, and in the two domestic cups, we've got out in earlier rounds than we did last season. Yeah. And in the Premier League, we're actually right now, from game week to game week, we are in the same position, albeit obviously.
FA Cup's pretty much the same though, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's just the Carabao Cup, which is a big disparity.
Yeah, semi-final in the Carabao. Well, it's the first time we've been out in the third round of the FA Cup since 2014.
Yeah, but we got knocked out to the same team.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, we all knew as soon as that draw made, we're probably going to be going out. Mm-hmm. So we got. I'm just saying,
we
got
a tough point of view. That's what I'm saying. That was their mission statement when kind of Frank came in, and that's what they said why they sacked Ange, and haven't lived up to that at all.
Yeah, it's true. But look, things just seem all wrong from board level all the way down. To the fans really. Toxicity in the fan base, players. Up and down players, fights going on at the end of games. The board are nowhere to be seen. Promised this whole war chest this January. Can't even hear of bids going in.
Is there a chance we have money but with no one to spend it on?
We definitely have money. But that's what we've kept saying, Sim. That's what we've kept saying. We can have all the money in the world, but what top quality player that we want to see come to this club is going to come?
That's the problem at the moment. Yeah,
that's what we've been saying.
Why would they? There's no real reason to come here.
I don't doubt that we've actually got ambitions to bring players in. I think they're finding it hard to find the players to actually come.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a tough sell at the moment for top players who will come in and really be game changers for us. It's a real tough sell. And
the thing is, right, if we are able to convince someone to come, and you end up spending and overspending on these players,
which we're going to need to do.
Yeah, which we're going to need to do, right? And you offer them 200 grand a week, 250 grand a week, and they end up not being the right fit. You're stuck with these players for 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. We've been through the Ndombele situation. He was a top talent coming out the French league. Everyone was, he was a star in that Lyon team, and he come here, and we're all excited for him to come here, being like, this is the game changer we need. Pochettino wanted him to come. Mm-hmm. Pochettino was like, this is the guy I need to push this team along. And what happens? He's the complete wrong fit, complete wrong attitude, and we were stuck with him for 5 years, or however long it was.
Yeah.
So with the state that we're in, if we have money like they suggest that we do, that is a strong possibility of that happening again, because you're not going to get the top caliber player, which are a sure thing. You're going to get a bit below the top caliber and players that you're unsure of. And it can work in both ways. Either they can come in, they can do well, or they've got talent and there's a reason why they're coming to Tottenham and no big clubs want them. You know what I mean? And we'll be stuck with these players.
And also there's a good chance that the signings they want to make will be club signings rather than what Frank wants.
I think for sure any signing we make from now until the end of January will be a club signing.
Yeah.
100%.
So in terms of people hoping Frank can just get players that he wants and that it can turn around in that fashion, I think it's kind of fanciful in my opinion. Like I feel like any sign we're going to make is not going to be because Frank wants them. It's because the club have made a decision. This player is a good player for Tottenham for whatever age and potential and all that kind of stuff, value. I think that's what they'll do. I don't think they're going to talk to Frank and say, okay, he wants a very specific type of player, and we're going to go get that player. I think because we don't know if he's going to be in a job in the near future. So I think from that point of view as well, it's hard to really back Frank for exactly what he needs or wants. But
I guess like they have to though. Like I know they won't, but they have to, because if they're going through this whole thing, if Vinay's thinking is, you know what, he's my Mikel Arteta, I hate using that kind of phrase, but if he's my Mikel Arteta and I'm going to stick through him through thick and thin, then show it. You know,
I agree.
Back him with the players that he wants.
I agree.
You know, if that's what they're going for.
Yeah, but I don't know how much they really believe in him as much as they're saying it, or as much as they're giving him the time. There are some suggestions. Is West Ham a must win? Is he? Do you think he will go if we lose that game?
If we don't beat West Ham, that is going to be the most.
Yeah, even if it's a draw, yeah.
That is going to be the most toxic the stadium's been this season for sure. And I think, all hell is going to break loose if we don't beat West Ham, in my opinion. And I actually think it's a possibility, man. You know, Nuno coming out fighting. He's still in the job, Nuno. Yeah. Looks like he's going to be in job for the Tottenham game. Or maybe if they go out. Did they go out? What did they play the FA Cup?
They're playing now, playing QPR today.
Imagine if they lose that game, Nuno could be gone. But if Nuno's still in the job, or even if he's not in a job, I think West Ham, they're going to, you know, turn into Tottenham v West Ham versus Tottenham.
And we're at home. I mean? We're awful at home.
Yeah.
Nothing's a given. Obviously, I'll be shocked if we don't win, but at the moment,
I won't be shocked.
It's just nothing's a given.
I won't be shocked if we don't win that game. I really won't. But it's a must-win in terms of, because if we don't beat West Ham, that's it. Like whatever little faith the fan base had with him, it will be completely gone. You can't lose to this West Ham team. Like this West Ham team is so poor, man. They are terrible.
Yeah, they're horrific. If we lose them, I think at that point you just have to say interim and fuck it.
But I don't know if they will. Will they actually do it though?
I think they might. If we lose that game,
do they have do they have an option? If we lose to West Ham, do they have an option not to sack him?
No, I think he has to go. He'll have to go if we lose that game, and then we got Burnley after that. Who knows if we'll win that game, but
you know, after the West Ham game, we'll be like, all right, the Burnley game is the
that's the game, must win. We had a few shots on target. Look at that performance.
Look at that second half display after we were 2-0 down.
Yeah, exactly. Even if we draw, we should sack Frank. Someone said Hammers are 1-0 up at the moment. Okay, so 1-0 up against QPR. Yeah, I think that West Ham. I mean, look, this game was massive. Obviously, we failed this test. The West Ham game now is just, we've got a week to prepare as well. We've got no midweek game for the first time in a couple of weeks. So as much as obviously we got the lack of squad, obviously Solanke obviously back now with Doggy, which is really good. But yeah, he can't really use, I don't know if he can use it for this week specifically.
Do you see it being a positive? Obviously it's a negative that we've gone out of the cup, but do you see it as a positive potentially, you know, we'll have one game a week for a little bit after January? Because at February, I think one game a week. We even got a week off because there's a weekend scheduled for the FA Cup.
Right.
So
I guess it helps in that sense. I mean, I don't see it as a positive in the sense that
it's not a positive because our ambitions for the season have gone. Yeah. But in terms of a positive, in terms of
will it help Frank?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably if he's still here and he's got a bit more time with the team. I mean, in theory, it should. But the last two times we've played midweek, we haven't played midweek. I guess we played the last two times have been Liverpool, which obviously we lost. But you know, people can say we've had a decent second half, and was Palace, which we won. But I would say luckily wasn't exactly what I put in a great performance. So hasn't exactly been, I would say, a massive help.
The problem we've got is that if we don't pick up 6 points out of West Ham and Burnley, which we have to. The fixtures are so difficult after that, and it's just like if we let's say draw against West Ham and draw against Burnley, then we really
go on a losing run.
That's what I'm saying. So we're really like putting ourselves like 14th, 15th, 16th. Like that's where we're going to end up if we don't pick up 6 points in these two games.
Especially if West Ham if West Ham do win, they're 10 points behind. Right? I'm not saying I really believe this is going to happen, but you've got to look at the situation. If they do win and we have that run coming up, if they have any sort of upturn in form, all of a sudden does start getting scary.
Listen to these fixtures, right? After the Frankfurt game at the end of this month. So once February kicks in, we've got Man City at home. You know, that's going to be a difficult game. We all know. Manchester United away after Amorim. You know, you never know what can happen there. Newcastle at home. Newcastle turned it around this season. Arsenal, less said the better. Fulham away. We always crumble at Fulham away. Yeah. Palace at home. You just know Brennan Johnson's going to come back and bite us in the arse. Liverpool away after that. So, I mean, like, you have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games in a row, which are so difficult up until the beginning of March.
Yeah, giving that to an interim as well. Is that a smart thing to do?
Exactly. It's just like...
But then again, living it with Frank, is that a smart thing to do? It's two shit options, it seems, at the moment. God. And I don't even know what West Ham's fixtures are, but...
And after that, there's only 8 games left of the season.
I don't know what West Ham's... Look, you can look at the games West Ham haven't won at the moment, so you can say there's nothing guaranteed for them, of course, but, you know, they are getting some new signings at the moment, and they are backing Nuno, so if there is any, like, upturn in form there, and if there's any kind of switch-up, which, you know, can just happen sometimes, then all of a sudden that's getting scary. A lot of people are saying, I've heard, this season will stay out, but could next season be the season we actually get embroiled in something serious? Because we've seen with West Ham, it's just gone down and down and down, and like they've been mismanaged. You know, they won that European Cup, but you know they sold some of their best players, and they've been mismanaged, and they've chopped and changed managers, and now look where they are. Oh, for you, do you feel like we could be looking into the future there, West Ham?
Nah.
No, you don't think so?
Nah. I don't think so, man. I think, like, our squad, as much as everyone wants to pick holes in it and everyone's saying it's terrible, and look, it's not the greatest squad in the world. There are definitely... We can upgrade pretty much in a lot of areas in that squad, don't get me wrong, but I don't look at that squad and being like, you know, they could be in a relegation battle, even though we finished 17th last year. This year, yeah, you know, we're not we're not that much better off. You know, if this team had a decent manager in it, they'll be nowhere near where we are in the league right now, in my opinion. So,
yeah, I agree. I just think we need obviously we need upgrading in the playing staff. Then obviously the culture needs changing, which we've said for a long time. But I think the main thing is they just need to be set up in a different way. Fabrizio has said something about Tell in his video. Someone says.
Well, tell us what he said.
What did he say? What did he say? Has there been a Spurs Express update? No. I think we'd be mad to let go of Tell. We'd be mad to let... This is just Ekran Canal. He's terrible. Tottenham interested in Coyote.
We just get linked to every single Brentford player. Every single one is like clockwork, man.
It's mad to think how well Brentford are doing as well now.
Yeah.
5th in the league.
Someone says Tell wants to leave unless a guaranteed starting role.
Well, we shouldn't have a guaranteed starting role, but I think as long as he's playing like he is at the moment, he should be starting 100%.
Yeah, look, I thought he was decent yesterday. It was nowhere near like the kind of level of performance that we saw at Bournemouth, in my opinion.
But I thought second half, when we were cooking, he was also playing really well.
I just did not understand that decision to take him off for Scarlett. Like, in what world?
Yeah, I didn't.
In what world do you take off Tell for Scarlett when you're pushing for a goal? It's madness to me.
Yeah, it seemed a bit crazy. But he did give the ball away for that second goal as well. But you know what? I was looking at that goal again. I'm like, he does give it away, and it's bad. But if it does go to Xavi's alone with like 3 Villa players around him. He's going to lose it there. Like, it's not going to really help the situation much. But I guess he'll lose it in a worse, not as bad area to lose it in.
Yeah. I tell you what, I do love João Palhinha though. His passion on the pitch, man, is just fantastic, and probably the stuff that the cameras don't pick up on, like against Bournemouth. You know, he kept coming over to the away and they're being like, come on, and just stuff like that, just trying to G everyone up, motivate everyone. He's a proper leader, João Palhinha.
Passion merchant.
Yeah.
No, but he's. I think it was like real Roy the Rover stuff from him yesterday in that second half. It's almost like he's just like, you know what, screw it, I'm just flying into everything.
Yeah, can't he just be like that every game, like from start to finish?
He wouldn't finish many games. I think he was like that from start to finish.
Yeah, I love him. I love João Palhinha, I really do. but it's just a shame he can't be a bit better on the ball.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. That is literally the only thing about him which makes me question, signing him. But I probably would sign him. Like I said before, I probably would sign him just to be part of the squad. I think he just gives good values to the team, leadership ability on and off the pitch. I think he does more good than bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's got a role to play, I would say. He does. He has a role to play when he's playing like he did yesterday, for sure, I would say. But depends if we want to be a better team. I don't know I'm not sure if he's a top 6 player.
Yeah, but like a squad player, look, Arsenal got Norgard in the squad.
Barely plays.
He barely plays, but he still plays a part in the squad, and he makes up the numbers, and he plays in the games where...
Do we want to keep Palhinha to barely play?
I think he holds a value in terms of that, and I think he'll play a bit more. He'll play more than Norgard, obviously, but the reality is we need better than him from a starting point of view. But as a squad player, I've got no problem with it at all. All right, shall we get into the player ratings?
Let's do it.
Let's get into the player ratings. I hope all of you guys got your votes in, because we are going to be reacting to them now. And starting off with Guillermo Vicario. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. Yeah, I don't think he could have done much with the goals that we conceded. Everything else was pretty much routine, although him on the ball was driving me a bit crazy yesterday.
Yeah. Sorry, you did. Yeah. I'm trying to think. There was one moment he came flying out, didn't he? And he passed it straight to Buendia, left it with an open goal. And
Brian was having a heart attack next to me when that was happening.
That got a bit lucky. In terms of the goals, I don't really see.
Yeah, that was nearly a Fulham goal all over again.
Yeah, literally the same thing. He did make a couple of saves, but nothing too noteworthy.
It was all routine.
All routine. So, yeah, I couldn't really praise him too much, to be honest, or criticise him too much.
The thing is, I had a big problem rating these players because most of them were just complete dog shit in the first half, and then the second half a lot of them had top performances, so it's hard to kind of put both of them together and give them a rating. It's almost like you need a rating for the first half and the second half in this game. But look, let's move on to Pedro Porro. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6.
Fans agree with me, 5.
Yeah. Which again, like Pedro Porro was one of those examples where I thought first half he was poor, could have done more. I think for the Buendia goal, I thought he was just weak in the challenge, and yeah, defensively I thought he was poor first half. Passing I thought was erratic, and he kept losing the ball. But second half I thought he really came alive. I thought defensively he was so solid, knocked one off the line as well in the last stage of the game, and I thought he put in a really strong showing in that second half.
Yeah, I definitely think he let himself down with that first goal though. Just got caught the wrong side of Marlon, and also left the... So no, he comes inside to track Marlon. He then leaves a massive space in his slot, and he doesn't stop Marlon from getting the pass off. So I think that was a big cause for us getting the goal, them getting that goal. Really poor from him. I thought he was struggling in that first half badly defensively, but as you said, I think he made up for it for a lot of some of the good stuff he did in the second half with the shot off the line and getting forward. Also, I don't think it's a coincidence that once he went off as well, Spence came on, who I thought had a terrible cameo.
Yeah.
And is it a surprise as well once he went off? Like, our chance creation went massively down. A lot of people get on his back for giving the ball away, and with his long passes that go nowhere. And I understand that, but I also think it's a tactic from Frank. I also think I'm obviously not to give it away, but it's an instruction to go long a lot from him. Give it to Porro and him go long.
Some of his short passes as well. It's just like sometimes he can't make a 5-yard pass, and this is our best passer we got.
Yeah,
it's just like so frustrating, man.
I would say it's because of our in-possession game.
Yeah, look, I don't doubt that, and I do think it all stems from the manager, but it just makes it such a frustrating watch, and we got to talk about it when we're talking about the player.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I'm just saying, a lot of people get frustrated with Porro, but people got to understand him when he goes long constantly, and we fight for those second balls. That is literally like the game plan. And so I think it doesn't look half as good when Porro's not there, because he's the best passer, so he's the best one to do it. If you've got Spence who figure out the pitch, you're going to look even worse because he's not as good as doing it. So yeah, that's what I would say about Porro. But yeah, I didn't think he had a great game yesterday.
Kevin Danso, 6s all round for us. I thought Kevin in the first half came under quite a bit of pressure, to be honest, and Villa were running rings around us, and he was a part of that. And at half-time, I think it changed a lot. A lot of the time, Spurs were pushed up high at the pitch, winning the ball back, and any time the ball came back into that area, I thought Danso was aerially so strong, man, and winning the ball back for us countless amount of times. He is just such a beast in the air, isn't he, man? He's unbelievable when it comes to his aerial ability, but when you're comparing him to Romero, they're like the polar opposites. Like, Romero's not that great in the air. Danso's unbelievable in the air. But when you're talking about on the ball and trying to progress the ball up the pitch, they're the polar opposites as well.
I think Romero's pretty good in the air. Do you don't think he's good in the air?
Nowhere near Danso, I don't think.
I mean, he was so dominant against Bournemouth. He won 12 out of 13 errors. Yeah, it was crazy.
But
I think he's pretty good in the air, Romero.
I don't think he's as good as he should be.
Interesting. Yeah, Danso's obviously a beast. I thought yesterday, second half, when we were stepping on Villa and we were pressing them high, it suited him a lot more. I actually thought when we were sitting deep, he was uncomfortable, and I think he got lost in a few situations, and he did kind of struggle. And on the ball again, very mixed from Danso, very mixed. I thought when he kind of got the ball and kept it simple, it was good, but as soon as he's trying to be a bit more expansive, it kind of goes wrong for him. So, yeah, I thought 5.9, there you go. I got a 6, I think that's about right.
Mickey van der Ven, Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. Again, first half, I thought he should have done more to maybe stop the Villa onslaught. Couldn't, but yeah, can't do it on his own, I guess. And second half, again, came alive. He was part of the reason how we just kept sustaining that pressure in the opening 20-25 minutes of that half. A couple of unbelievable challenges in there from Mickey, which you tend to expect from him now. But it's like, kind of, how can you expect this unbelievable challenges consistently game after game? But he keeps providing and keeps producing. And yeah, I thought he ends it with a decent performance at the end.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. There was that one moment, I think it was in the first half, where he comes, like, that we're missing a few challenges, and he comes flying in, wins it, and all of a sudden becomes like a right winger, and like because like running down that side and putting Tottenham on the attack. I thought when we were pushing up and when we were forcing the issue, and he was a real big part of how we were just able to pen Villa in a bit and just keep momentum going, because he was just winning the ball. Him and Danso together in that moment were quite good. And yeah, I think his box defending for the second goal wasn't particularly impressive. Should be more proactive there. But yeah, I thought he had a pretty good game overall.
The fans give him 6.5.
So right in the middle of us.
Bang in the middle. And let's see what we've given to Ben Davis. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 7. No, I thought it was decent, Ben Davis. Obviously, the fans here have given him 6.2, so closer to you than to me. But yeah, I thought he did his job really well, really aggressive in the challenge, and defensively, I thought he did a really good job out on that left-hand side, to be honest.
He was one of the weird ones where I actually felt he was better in the first half than the second half.
Yeah.
He was like one of the few. I thought in the first half he was brilliant. His anticipation...
Probably our best player at half-time.
Yeah, his anticipation for some of the challenges he was making, like getting there first when we were in the moments we were pressing, was really really impressive. And look, he didn't get forward too much, obviously. There was one moment, actually, there was a good, I think, Gray plays a pass in behind, and Davis actually does run in behind, but his cutback just didn't quite make it. But I thought that he was actually playing quite well first half, and then second half had a bit of a drop off, wasn't as involved, and maybe just couldn't keep up what he was doing in the second half. But yeah, I think he's been all right since he's come back into the team, to be fair.
Yeah, he has, and both at left back as well, where everyone says he's done at. So maybe a bit of life left in the tank for Ben Davis. But yeah, going into the last 6 months of his contract, it's interesting to see if Spurs going to try and sell him in this January transfer window, or we're just going to say, go on your way for a free at the end of the year.
I mean, at the moment, I think we just need all the help we can get, so we'll probably keep him around. But then again, we didn't with Brennan.
Yeah. João Palhinha up next. 7s all round for João, and this was a key example of first half and second half. Like, this was probably the most obvious one, because in the first half I thought he was pretty much just chasing shadows for that whole of that first half. The Villa midfield were running rings around him, to be honest. And second half he came out with a completely different attitude and outlook of the game, and he was fantastic. He really was absolutely unplayable. The amount of challenges he was putting in, the aggressive nature in his game, he was absolutely fantastic. Had an effort on goal as well. Villa players in the midfield just couldn't handle him. He just had that something extra about him in that second half, and I thought he was just fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Palhinha was brilliant in that second half. Probably our best player. Just as I said, like Roy of the Rover stuff, just dragging the team up by the scruff of their neck. Sorry, and the challenges he was putting in, he was dominating in that middle where he just wasn't in the first half. It kind of felt like he was very standoffish in that first half. Wasn't getting near to anyone. And that second half, he just taking no prisoners, challenge after challenge, sticking his boot in, like being fearless. And I thought he was a big part of how we were taking the game to Aston Villa. I thought it was also unfortunate to be booked. I didn't think that was a booking for his challenge where he won the ball in that second half. But first half, look at that first goal. He's just, chasing shadows all over the place and wasn't getting near his man. And I thought they were finding it so easy to play against him. But that did all change in the second half. So I also thought, to be fair, as much as he didn't deserve to be booked for that challenge in the second half, I think the challenge at injured Kamara did deserve a yellow, and he got lucky with that. So maybe it evens itself out.
I just felt like there were so many like kind of small challenges that he was getting penalised for in the game, particularly in the second half. And then like Villa would do probably the same or if not worse challenges, and the ref would just let it ride. It was just like, I thought João Palhinha was getting held to like a different standard to anyone else on the pitch from the ref yesterday.
A few people have said that.
Yeah.
A few people have said that. But yeah, we want to see more of those performances like in the second half for sure.
Archie Gray up next. 5s all round for Archie. By the way, 7.3 for João Palhinha for the fans. I think Archie was poor in the first half, similar to João. Like you said, very standoffish and getting run rings around. Second half, I thought he was able to progress the ball a little bit better, but his performance, I don't think, improved as much as like the other players on the pitch. Like he did a little bit better, but not too much better. Yeah,
he had a bit of a new role yesterday. He was he kind of played in the pure number 6, where on the ball he was going in between both centre backs and the centre backs were splitting, and he was kind of playing like a quarterback. You would play there, and he would just basically be playing switches to the wingers or whatever. And I thought he looked okay, but I don't think he was completely comfortable in that role, to be honest. I actually think he had a pretty good game, and when it came off the ball, wasn't great. I thought he really did struggle, to be honest, to really impact the game, and I thought Villa were really playing through him. Second half, didn't get too much better. He wasn't one of the ones who I thought stood out in the second half, to be honest. I think he was playing in a similar way. But yeah, first half, it kind of hurt the dynamic in a sense, because if you're playing Gray as the deeper one, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because you're playing Gray as the deeper one, it leaves Palhinha in the middle, in the more congested area where he's not comfortable. But if you play Palhinha as the deeper one and ask Gray to do that, then Palhinha doesn't have the passing range maybe that Gray does. But I think maybe Palhinha with a bit more space maybe would be better than Gray. So I don't know. What do you think? Because he played Gray as the deeper one, splitting the centre-backs. Would it have been better if it was Palhinha there, or was it Gray more suited to that?
Well, out of the two, I don't think either of them. We need that for evident to see that we need a proper ball player as our number 6. That just everything that you just said there is just evidence of it. How we need that proper ball player as a look. Maybe the argument is the more Archie does it, the more used to it he's going to get, and it'll be good for his development. But right now, I don't think he's up to it completely. But I do think he has it in his locker to develop into. But right now, it's he's still early stage of his development. Yeah,
I think he did some good things, but overall he struggled.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to go to Richarlison. 5s all round for Richie. I think he went off at half an hour.
Half an hour, yeah.
So I mean, in that first half an hour, I don't even know if he touched the ball. I didn't even notice anything that he did. So yeah, it's hard to comment anything about his performance.
Yeah, 4.1 they've given him. The fans, they weren't too happy with him. So yeah, he wasn't really. I wonder whether it was injury waiting to happen, if he was struggling with something before he went off injured. But obviously he was just chasing down a loose ball, wasn't he, where he pulled up, which is just so heartbreaking for him, especially with the World Cup coming up and he's fighting for that place, and he's been scoring goals this season. For injuries to kind of
we don't know how bad it is. Like, it could be just a 2-week hamstring,
maybe, but when it's off the ball like that, it's not great. When it's no contact. Let's hope it's not bad. Let's hope it's not a tear. Let's hope it's just a pull. But hopefully he's okay. Hopefully it's not too serious. We'll wait for a scan. But if it is serious, it's heartbreaking for him.
Yeah.
Because of trying to overcome those injury issues, trying to stay fit, and he's done a great job of it this season. But Looks like maybe it's reared its ugly head again. But yeah, I don't remember too much of him before the injury, to be honest.
Yeah. Wilson, Odebear, Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 7. Was struggling to get into the game in the first half. Second half, straight from the off, he really came alive, didn't he? And I thought Villa found it really hard to handle him down that right-hand side. I thought for the opening 15, 20 minutes of that second half, he was electric. He really was. And I felt like, it was an unbelievable finish to bring us back into the game at 2-1. But then after that, I felt like him really breathing with confidence for those next 10 minutes, but then he kind of tired out the game after that, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought first half anonymous, unfortunately. Also wasn't really helping Porro too much. I just felt he wasn't in the game. He wasn't hurting their left back, Maatsen, on the day. Maatsen is a winger by trade. It should be a situation where he can feel confident taking him on, but he didn't. But yeah, second half he grew, especially after that goal. Excellent finish across the face goal. Want to see him in those positions more often, because if he can finish like that, he can start getting more goal contributions. That was a fine goal. Was that his first goal of the season? Oh, he scored against Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Scored against Copenhagen. So second goal of the season. So that was really good. But yeah, I think he was riding that wave of momentum, wasn't he, after the goal? And it looked like, wow, he's flying. He was beating people. He was going past people like they weren't even there. And then once Villa got a foothold back in the game, he turned quiet again and he got taken off. So some bright sparks, good goal, but ultimately just need a bit more from him, especially right now.
Yeah, so the fans give him 6.6, so 6, close to in the middle between me and you. Javi Simmons, 7s all round for Javi. Second half, he was unplayable at times. He really was the hub of the team, creating, taking it past men, being creative. I loved what I saw from him in the second half. First half, it was a struggle for him to get into the game, but we still saw a few kind of bits and pieces from him when, if anything was going to come for Spurs, it was all going to come through him. And look, Spurs' attacking momentum, it died a little bit before that, but it completely died when we moved him over to the wing. So you had to keep him in the middle where he was causing so many problems. And I think slowly now, I know he had that 3-game ban, but slowly I feel like he's starting to grow into it a little bit and grow into the shirt, and we're starting to find, he's starting to find a role in in the team. So we need to keep persisting with him in the number 10. Just keep playing him through thick and thin, bad performances, good performances. He's the only one, I think, in that team, in that midfield, that has an X factor about him in terms of being able to consistently create chances. So I was delighted what I saw from him in that second half.
Yeah, and I think he just showed, even just glimpses, what he's capable of. I thought that second half he was running the game. He was absolutely phenomenal, and they really couldn't contain him. Even in the first half, he had that run straight down the heart of that Villa midfield, which he beat 3-4 players, and then unfortunately Moani had just strayed offside. But I thought that was a brilliant piece of play from him. He actually did the same thing in the second half and drew a foul. He had a couple of nice shots, which forced a couple of good saves from Bizot. He was looking really creative. I thought he was either winning a free kick, or he was creating a chance, or he was getting a shot off. I thought him in the little tight spaces was fantastic. And I thought we were playing him in the centre, playing it into him very quickly and very directly in the centre, where he had little pockets of space, little things that he could do. And I just felt he was doing so well. He was running the game. He was completely asking questions of Villa, and then we just take him out that area and we put him out wide. And all of a sudden, he's got he's out the game. He's not in his favoured areas, and that was really peculiar to me. I don't understand why Frank took him out of the central area and put him out wide. That didn't make sense to me. But I just think we should be getting more out of him. He's capable of so much more, and I think yesterday was so clear of that. He's got so much quality in his game and in his boots. He's got to be doing a lot more. Yeah, and I think a lot of it's to do with how we don't find him enough in these dangerous areas.
Yeah, this just shows, man. Just play through the centre a bit more, get him more involved, and we'll reap benefits of it. I'm so certain of that. But fans giving him a 7.5, so
we underestimated him.
Half a point over than what we've given him. But next up is Matisse Tell. 6 is all round for Matisse. I thought. Yeah, in the first half he was fairly quiet, but second half, he was asking questions down that left-hand side. I love him on corners. I think he's fantastic in terms of his delivery. I don't think he was as strong as he was in the game against Bournemouth, but he still provides an outlet for us on that left-hand side, and more than probably anyone else has so far this season. So I would love to see us just keep persisting with Matty's Tell, because I think he's got quality about him.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's another positive performance, to be honest. Just gone up to a 6.8. It was a 6.7, so people still voting for him. Yeah, I thought he had a really solid showing, to be honest. I thought, especially in the second half, I know he gave the ball away in the first half, so he gets marked down for that, for the first goal. But I think the second half, I thought he was hard to handle for Matt Cash. Matt Cash was struggling to deal with him, to be honest. And he found some good passes into Xavi. I thought the link-up play between him and Xavi and Moani was all of a sudden really good. And I thought they really struggled to deal with that. And then unfortunately he got taken off. Maybe he was tiring or whatever, but he got taken off late in the game. And I didn't understand that decision because it kind of neutered us up front. But I thought it was another positive display. And I agree, corners-wise, every delivery seems on the money. It seems like we always get first contact when he's getting that delivery. And so that's really good. He does these like drilled deliveries from the outswinger as well, which are really good. And that's we created a couple of chances we didn't make the most of yesterday. So, yeah, positive from Tell again.
Yeah. Fans giving us 6.8. So, yeah, I think he's really starting to make a name for himself with the fan base, and the fan base is starting to realise, you know what, this guy is probably our strongest left winger now. Next up is Randall Kolo Muani. Bit of a difference of opinion here. Sim's giving him a 5. I've given him a 7. So obviously came on after half an hour for Richarlison. Didn't do much in the first half, but I thought he was very central to the good work that we were doing in the opening 25 minutes or 20 minutes in the second half. Grabs the assist with some really good work, and I thought he was using his body really well to win the ball back quite consistently for us and sustain the pressure. Had a goal ruled out for offside with a nice finish in the first half, and I just thought generally he was causing a nuisance out of himself for the second half and was providing us with a decent focal point up front.
Yeah, he did have a good assist, to be fair. Did really well barging Bogart off the ball and then played it to Odebert for the goal, and that was a good assist. But I think, unfortunately, the reason I'm giving him a 5 is the two big moments. I think he's a bit culpable in terms of the offside. So he strays offside when he should be keeping himself onside. He can look right down the line where Xavi's going to play the ball. He knows he's going to play it to him with a little pass. He's right there. He can stay onside, and he just strayed off. And the second half, where he played that ball through to Xavi, if he played it just a tad quicker, Xavi's onside, and we get that equaliser. And he just delayed it a tad, and unfortunately
it's fair.
Xavi strayed off, and bam, it was offside. He did do some good stuff. It wasn't like terrible.
A lot better than Bournemouth, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, much better. So much more involved, and did get a good assist. But yeah, I gave him a 5 in the end.
It's just mad as well, because I thought it was a lot better than what he showed at Bournemouth, and the rating's only gone up 1 from 4 to 5. Probably a 6, I think, is fair for him.
I felt of the front players, he was the weakest, probably, to be honest.
Yeah, fair.
Fans say 5.2.
Yeah, they're more with you than with me, that's for sure. A couple of points just before we move on to the manager. Great to see Big Dom back on the pitch. Got himself involved straight away, but unfortunately, definitely looked rusty. So good to see him. Fans giving him a 5. Yeah, a bit harsh to give him a rating, I thought.
Yeah, there was that one moment, he had a big moment, didn't he? I think ball to the back post. I think Moani wins the header, and then he had kind of had a moment where he could have maybe swiveled and shot, and he just didn't quite get it right, and then got crowded out, and unfortunately, the chance was gone. There was a couple of moments where he was getting involved, but as you say, he looked rusty, needs a bit of that time. But there was a couple of reminders of how strong he is, like muscling players off the ball and stuff like that. So hopefully he's going to be a big help now he's back fit.
Yeah, in that moment you're talking about, it's like he gets the ball, and I just felt like he just takes too long on the ball in the box, and it gave the opportunity to like 4 Villa players to crowd round him, and then the move's kind of dead. To
be honest, he does that the best of times. Even when he's fully fit, he takes too long.
True. And Jed Spence, he comes on for Pedro Porro, and I thought he put in a bit of a shocker yesterday. Jed Spence, like every time he got the ball, I don't know what he was doing. I was like, "What are you doing, Jed?"
Yeah, he was kind of just running into trouble every time, and we needed energy from him at that point. Get forward. But it's like he didn't want to put the ball in the box. He just was so concentrated on taking someone on or beating his man and getting to the byline where he was losing it. He wasn't doing. He was just giving the ball away carelessly, and he had opportunities to whip it in. He didn't take them.
Yeah. And finally, we talk about Thomas Frank. 4s all round for Thomas. Look, I thought with the starting lineup that he chose, the only real question mark is Spence for Ben Davies, but don't really question it too much. He was pretty hamstrung in terms of the lineup that he had to choose yesterday. But it was just the intent and the messaging and the way we played in that first half was disgraceful. And for the most part of it, we were lucky probably to be only 2-0 down at half-time. And that's the way we get set up. And it's nowhere near good enough, particularly in a cup game when it's do or die, done on the night. You're either in or you're out. And we left ourselves too much to do at half-time. And that was due to the way that we were set up. Second half, obviously, was a lot better. But I find it so hard to give too much praise for the second half performance because of what happened in the first and the game pretty much all but done. And I felt as well like the changes that he made just pretty much hurt us more than helped us. So game management was poor. He gets a little bit of credit for those 25 minutes where we were flying, but for the most part, I thought it was awful from him.
Yeah, just how we come out in a cup game when we know how important it is in that manner. And the fact of the matter is, though, that level of performance we saw in that first half has been more the rule rather than the exception. So to say him come out and say, yeah, second half, that's how we want to play and all this kind of stuff. Well, why don't we see it more often? Why is it constantly like a lack of energy and always being pragmatic and always being behind the ball and always looking about what the opposition do rather than asking questions themselves? And as soon as we're 2-0 down, it's like, okay, let's throw caution to the wind. Let's go and attack Villa. But Villa are a good team, and when clawing back a 2-0 deficit is going to be very, very difficult. And in the end, it was too little, too late when it came to that. So I think I don't even know if it was more him or was more the players leading that as well. Van der Ven saying that there was a talk amongst the players at half time to put more energy in whatever, and that's what got it through. Look, whatever way they got there, they did. But Frank, for me, look, he's just proven every week that I don't think he's the right manager for Tottenham Hotspur. As you said, the changes were awful. Again, a bit of sympathy because we have limited options, but Scarlett on the wing, don't really understand that. Why when you got Moani there and Scarlett, why would you not put Moani on the wing and Scarlett up front? That didn't make sense to me. Moani can be a winger. When has Scarlett ever played out wide? Taking Xavi out the 10 and putting him on the left, taking Tell off. Just a few baffling decisions. And also, another one, a bit, I don't know, obviously only Frank can know this, but if Solanke comes on, or he came on with 10 minutes to go, if we went to extra time, could he have made it till the end of extra time? That was another question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's also something to think about. But he's lost the support of the fans. They're booing, they're chanting, sacked in the morning. It's not a great situation for him. And he seems a bit like a defeated man at the moment. He doesn't have that same enthusiasm, that passion in press conferences, and his body language. He seems a bit lost at the moment, how he talks.
The most frustrating thing for me is when you see those 25 minutes, when you see the Brentford game, when you see parts of the Sunderland game, like when you see the Man City game, we can do it. We can play good football if we really want to. We can put teams under pressure. We can press high from the front. Like all of our good performances or good moments in games have all stemmed from Spurs being super aggressive, pressing high up the front, winning the ball back in key areas. We don't do it enough. And that's what frustrates me so much. It's just like we have to go through so much shit just to see a little bit of good play. And then when we see it, we're all just like, wow, we're pressing. We've actually won the... You know what I mean? And it's just like, we've got it in us. He's got it in him. Why don't we see it more than... Why just don't we see it on a regularity?
I don't know.
Then no one would have a problem. It's just like, we know he's got it in him to play this kind of football. We've seen it this season in short fits and spurts. But nobody has any trust that we're going to see it. It's just like such a weird situation.
Yeah. And we just have, it's just not been enough. We've seen it as well, unfortunately. Recently we've seen it a bit more, to be fair. But in terms of the season as a whole, it's been very little of this kind of football and what he's tried. And I think maybe he's come in with the remit of, look how open we were last season. We've got to tighten it up. You make sure you improve that defence. And I think it's completely neglected the other side of the game.
All right, so that is the player ratings. There has just been an update from Fabrizio Romano regarding Matisse Tel, and he says that he understands Paris FC are among the clubs keen on signing Matisse Tel on loan this month. Several approaches are ready. Tottenham insists they want Tel to stay. Matisse wants to play regularly as he dreams of a World Cup call. So Matisse has ambitions of getting called up for France for the very first time, which is
given their options. It's a big shout, but you never know, because if you have a mad end to the season, especially if you're playing in the Premier League,
yeah, you never know, injuries as well.
So I can understand that. I just hope he doesn't. I think what's it called? He'll do that somewhere else.
He also has started the last 3 games. Is it now?
Three in a row.
Yeah. And there's no sign of him coming out because of injuries, but maybe in the back of his mind he's like, well, they're trying to sign a left winger. Maybe if with some players coming back, I'll just be back on the bench again.
That's
probably what will happen. So
it shouldn't happen.
I can completely understand it from his perspective, but from my perspective and from what I'm seeing, he is our most dangerous player right now. So we need to keep playing him.
Yeah, but when everyone's fit, we still don't have a left winger. He's still our best left winger. So he should really be playing even when players are back, to be honest. So I hope he looks at the situation. Maybe he's thinking he's not enjoying playing under Frank. Maybe that's part of the reason as well. If you look at the stats, just barefaced stats, 6 starts, 3 goals in the league. So let's
obviously
hope.
2 of those goals come from the bench, right?
One from the bench. That was United. So... Look, I like him. I really believe he's got quality. I've really been enjoying his performances of late, and I think his cameos before that were quite good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's been a long time coming. He's been getting this opportunity, and I think he should be getting a run of games now.
The problem is he's had nothing but kicks in the teeth since the start of this season. Like, we brought him in, we made him permanent in the summer, but we haven't trusted him to be part of the playing staff this season. He gets pulled out the Champions League squad, which, I do have a little bit of sympathy for because of, the situation with our squad with club trained and homegrown and all that kind of stuff. So you can forgive him for that. But you're thinking if he's not going to be in the Champions League squad, he's going to utilise him a lot more in the Cups and the League. And up until recently, until we got all these injuries, he hadn't been. So he must be thinking of that situation. Well, they left me at the Champions League squad, only brought back in because Dom Solanke's been injured all season. And it's just like they don't value me whatsoever. And I'm only playing in the team because they're down to their bare bones and through injuries. So from his perspective, I can understand, like, he feels undervalued.
Absolutely.
And he has been undervalued. And I think the way we've treated him this season, after making his loan move permanent, has been nothing short of disgraceful.
Agreed. It's been terrible. But hopefully that's changing now. But I agree with you. If I was him, I would also be thinking maybe I'm better off moving.
Yeah.
To be honest. And there's several options. Seems there are people looking at him thinking, look, we could use you. We really want you here. He's maybe feeling some love from a few approaches he's had to his agent. Look, if we can get out of Tottenham, come play here. We really think you're a great player. They don't value you there. Right now, we can't afford to let him go. Let's just be honest. We just can't.
Yeah, it's true. And look, he's got a good head on his shoulders, Matisse Tel. I think he's a very professional. He holds himself to a good standard, and look, he's a young player trying to make his name in the game, and he's got qualities about him. I'm not sitting here and saying he's the answer for us, and he's gonna score 30 goals a season and be our best player. But right now, with the little quality that we have in the forward line, he probably is the most dangerous player that we've got. Bar Javi. So
young players like him need game time. They need development. That's what they need. And it's no surprise to me that with the lack of that, it's going to hamper his development. He's not going to look as good. So then people, when he does play, be oh, he's shit, he's rubbish. He's not. He's clearly a talented player. Clearly, the more game time he's had, the better he's looked. And especially on the left wing. When he's been playing up front, even then he's looked okay, but that's not really right. He's struggling in that position. But when he's played left wing, he's looked really good.
He looks better for us this season than he looked last season as well. I think he's getting better, which is a positive sign as well. Like last season, I was not convinced at all when he was playing, and I think there's little to go on when we actually made that decision to go permanent based on what we've seen. But this season, I genuinely believe whenever he's played, I think he's done himself a good job, to be honest. I can't fault him at all. So big up to Matisse. I completely understand where you're coming from, but unfortunately, I don't think we're in a position to let you leave. That's the reality.
No, definitely not. I think maybe these reports have been coming out since before January, and maybe that's where the clubs are getting in these intermediaries, whatever, these agents are getting involved, and these stories are going to come out. But he has started the last 3, so maybe that situation is quieting down a bit, even though it's coming out now. Yeah,
but it's no secret that Spurs are looking to bring in wingers. So he must be looking at that situation, being like, "What? Like, I'm here, guys. Like, I'm playing for you. I'm playing well. Like, are you blind? Like, what's going on?"
I mean, I would prioritise a right winger right now over a left, because we just don't have one.
Yeah.
So I think that should be the priority if we're going for a winger right now.
But that's the case. Surely we don't let him leave.
No, I don't think we do.
But that is the situation. Romano keeps talking about it, keeps talking about potential loan moves for Matisse Tell this January. And if we let him and Brennan go in the same window, that's just crazy talk.
Well, going into January, I think that probably was the thinking of Tottenham, that we might be open to letting him go. But I think right now we can't, because we've let Brennan go, we've got injuries, and he's playing well. So all those 3 things combined equals don't let him go.
Yeah.
I think going into Jan, we had Kudus fit, we had these other players fit. Brennan was still here as well. So maybe the thought was, if there is an offer for Patel and he's still not getting the game time like he wasn't, okay, maybe we'll let him go on loan for 6 months or whatever, and he can get some game time and develop. But I think that situation, if it hasn't changed, I think it's crazy. That must have changed.
Yeah.
Ornstein tweet.
Let's see what this Ornstein tweet is saying.
Here we go. Not about Tell, is it? Paratici set for exit.
All right. Fucking hell. David Ornstein, Fabio Paratici set for exit. Tottenham Hotspur are in the current transfer window. Co-sporting director helping Tottenham in January market before returning to Italy for personal reasons. Expected to join Fiorentina. I thought it was something to do with personal reasons. You think it's bullshit?
I think it's the party line.
Maybe.
That's the party line, I would say.
Could be. But it is.
I don't think they're
it's very peculiar to go to Fiorentina, though, of all places.
That is true. It says personal reasons are believed to be a factor in the timing of Paratici's decision to leave Spurs so soon after his return. Paratici officially resumed working for Tottenham in October, following his 30-month ban. Blah blah blah. Anything else in here?
I won't go down with this ship.
I think if he truly believed in what we were doing, and I think if everything was going well, I really find it hard to believe he would leave after a few months. If we were flying, he was being listened to, or whatever, or the thing was functioning, the hierarchy was functioning, I find it hard to believe that he would jump ship so quickly. Maybe it is something's happened. That's true. We don't know for sure. If I was to guess, I would guess that is what they're saying publicly. They don't want to give the impression that it's all a mess behind the scenes. If they're going to ask a club source, who's close with the hierarchy, what's the reason why he's leaving, they're going to play it down. Oh, it's just personal reasons. No, not a big deal. Nothing we can avoid. But what the true reason is, I would guess that he's not impressed with what's happened. Maybe he's not impressed with being outvoted for wanting Frank sacked or whatever, or he's not impressed with the inner workings of the hierarchy. He thinks, actually, this ain't working for me. I joined it. I'm a co-sporting director. I don't even have the final say on things. Like, how much power do I really have in this role? It's a big mess. Maybe he, liked Daniel. Maybe, whatever we want to say, maybe he liked Levy, and maybe he liked that relationship. Levy was the one who convinced him to come at the end of the day, and now he's gone. And obviously he
rejoined post.
I understand that we've convinced him to join, but maybe he didn't realise the full extent of what he was joining, right? Because under Levy he did, and he was there. He was here for a bit, and now under the new Lewis whatever and the co-sporting director and Vinay, it's a different situation. Maybe now he's been here, he's like, yeah, actually this isn't for me. So something tells me it's more than just personal reasons, but I think it's emblematic of the mess the club is in at the moment, especially him losing him during the window. Well, this is a massive window for us right now.
Well,
and a lot of people hate.
He's going to be here till the end of the window.
Oh, once the window's closed. Okay, at least that's good.
So, but is he going to have the same kind of attitude towards this window than he would if he knows he's here long term? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's another. Well, hopefully he's a consummate professional, but
yeah, look, even if that, like, even subconsciously, do you put as much into it if you know you're not going to be there in a few weeks' time, and you know, like, this transfer business has got nothing to do with you. Like, you're not the one that is going to, you know, feel the repercussions of it, are you? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. If he's going to go, you may as well just let him go now, in my opinion. What's the point of keeping him on till the end of the window?
Because we need to get deals done. Someone needs to do it.
Yeah.
And he's the one to do it. So if he's prepared to do the job, and if he can do it, then I think you might as well do it. I think it's better keeping him around for the window than if he's got plans in place and whatever, and there's been discussions, rather than sacking him now. I think that's too chaotic. I think keep him for the rest of the window.
Well, we're not sacking him though, are we? He's leaving.
Also, whether, I mean, well, if he's leaving, you're saying just let him go now. That's basically a sacking. He wants to stay.
Well, I think we're probably asking him to stay. I think he's the one that wants to leave.
Well, if he's prepared to stay for the window, then let him. Then I think keep him for now.
I just don't. Either situation's not good, to be honest.
Do you want to leave it all on Lang's desk? No, I wouldn't. And Lang seems to have had a hard time convincing players to come by himself before. It seems as though every time Lang wanted a player, Levy or Ange had to step in and do the final convincing.
Yeah, but I get that, and I agree with that. But the way I think of it is as well, is just like, if your heart's not in the job, like, is your heart going to be in these player negotiations? And when you're trying to convince a player to come, are you going to be able to convince them in the same way when your heart was in the project? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a point there as well. Like, if you're, you know, if you're...
A player's going to be like, well, you're jumping ship.
Yeah, you're going, so why should I come? I get that as well. I get that. That's a good point. It's a good point.
So...
If he can convince, maybe he can do it while leaving. I don't know.
No, but I do agree with you in a turn. It just says a lot more about Tottenham than anything else. Fabio leaving a few months after just joining back in a permanent role. It says so much about the club. And I have thought about this a lot since we had that original conversation, and I was talking about, you know, there could be so many different reasons, and I still believe that, and, you know, potential of maybe personal reasons, but I agree with what you just said before. Like, if things were going swimmingly and if he believed in the project, he would probably try and put those to one side and stay in the role and carry on his career path. But yeah, it just seems a mess from top to bottom, and it just don't seem to be getting better.
Man, and obviously we're going to have to replace him, hopefully. But what we're going to get another I don't know about this whole co-sporting director thing as well. I think that's a bit of a nonsense. Like, someone should just take that role, give Lange a different title, like give someone the full reins of a sporting director. I think doing it in a co-way doesn't really make too much sense to me.
I wish it was Lang the one that was leaving, to be honest. Like, I was listening to
more working in the shadows. Working in darkness.
I was listening to your call-in with Stelios last night, and he was about us ripping down everything and starting again. And we've said it for so many years. We've said it probably for the last 6-7 years that we need to do that. And I think it's just becoming more and more evident that we just still need to do that.
Yeah,
it's crazy. The more people we bring in are just more people that are not fit enough to do the job.
Yeah, that's also the problem. Like, I don't trust these guys to the decisions they're making at the moment. Yeah, I think there's definitely underlying issues at the club, as Spurs fan Z2B said. Paratici leaving shows signs of underlying issues. I just can't get away from that feeling. And what does that mean for this whole project and this whole ENIC 2.0 and all this kind of stuff? What does this mean for it? How important was Fabio to that? Because he was a big part of it when they made all these interviews earlier in the season. So, you know, with the way things are going right now on the pitch as well, how long is it until we start seeing protests and all these kind of things really come?
There's a protest next week. It's planned.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
We'll get Billy T on to speak about it this week. But
so we're back on the bandwagon. We're back.
Yeah,
we're back, people.
Protest is planned for West Ham.
Yeah,
it is. That's what.
When was that announced?
I think in the last few days. I mean,
before the Villa game.
Wasn't Stel on it talking about it yesterday? He was speaking to you about it yesterday.
We were talking about protests. He said,
he said there is one, and he doesn't expect a big turnout. He was literally speaking about it to you yesterday.
Oh, I thought he was talking about if there was one, he wouldn't expect a big turnout.
No, there is one.
There is one. Okay.
So
good. I think that's I think that's a good thing, because we should be putting pressure on the board right now. As I've said before, you know, we've had this discussion when they've had this whole rebrand and all this kind of stuff. It's on them to convince the fans that they're the right people for the job and they're moving in the right direction. From that point on, just because they've made this rebrand and Levy's gone, doesn't mean they should automatically get our support. They 100%, because it's still the same company. As Josh called in yesterday, the Olympian, he said it's putting different lipstick on the same pig. That's how he sees it. It's you can't think, oh, they've changed all these things, so that means it's completely new now and they're different people and it's going to be swimmingly. No. They have to convince the fans, after what they've put the fans through for a lot of the many years, that they're the right people to be heading this. So I think it's absolutely right that things have gone in the way they're going. Fabio's now leaving. He's jumping ship. Right, he was rebranded as a big part of the ENIC 2.0. So it's on ENIC to prove to the fans that their things are going to change and things are going in a direction. And it shouldn't be they just get our automatic support and straight away. I think it's right for fans to be sceptical.
I agree. Look, I don't disagree with that. But then on the other side of it, they've come in. Let's say they've come in the summer, right? This whole new rebrand, and they've given us all this lip service. They say we want to win games. We want to win games more regularly. We're going to pump money in. We're going to raise the ceiling of the wage structure, and we're going to spend money, and we're going to bring in players, right? How was that supposed to have changed from then until now? We're 11 days into their first transfer window. Yes, it seems the same because they've just brought in a 19-year-old left back, and that's all we've brought in right now.
As you say that, the word said to you about just signed, yeah.
Yeah, but like we've said it before, like how are we even supposed to convince those kind of players to come through the door?
End of the day, I understand those criticisms, but that's on them to work out. Like us fans.
Yeah, finally, it's on them to work out, but what is the realistic possibility here? How are they even supposed to bring these players through the door in 11 days of a transfer window and try and convince these players Tottenham's the right place for them?
Don't know. But they're part of the reason why it's not a convincing place. They're literally that's why fans are not happy, because of how we run. So they're a big part of that. Why we're so unattractive. So for me, I think protests are absolutely right. Put them under pressure. Let them know you're unhappy. Let them know that the way things are going is not acceptable for fans. I think it's absolutely right. And this isn't also a case where they just get a free run, they just get a pass because they're new. No, they are still ENIC. They have been around the club for many years. Okay, so I know Levy's gone, but ENIC is still in charge. I'm not saying things can't change, but I'm saying you need evidence of that first before we can say things have changed and don't worry, we're on a new path. We need to see evidence of that. We're not seeing evidence of that just yet. And so until that moment comes, it's absolutely right to let your feelings know that you're putting pressure on them to change and do the things in the right way. And we want to see a different Tottenham Hotspur and not this circus that we're continuously seeing. And I think it's only right that with the club in the mess that it's in, and now we're hearing news that big parts of this rebrand are leaving because whatever reason, but they are leaving Tottenham. I think it's only right that the fans look at that situation and go, okay, fine, we're going to put pressure on you. We're going to protest. We're going to demand you to change or get out, because there's no evidence that things are going in the right direction here.
What do you think the messaging should be at the protest? Because the last messaging was...
Time for change.
Yeah, so the same thing, basically.
Time for change. And nothing has changed at the moment.
What does time for change look like? Is that just selling the club?
Look, it's about putting them under pressure. Whether selling's one thing or changing. I understand changing takes time, potentially, but at the moment we are still a circus. And so while that continues, then you need to put them under pressure. You need to let them know this will not stand. Whether it's about getting them out or not, that's one thing. I think sending a message that what's going on is unacceptable, and just because you've publicly rebranded doesn't mean we buy that, and doesn't mean we truly believe anything has changed. It's important to send that message that you're not going to get a free pass here. We're still going to be voicing our concerns and making our voice heard at this point, and we're not going to give you a free pass.
I get that, but from the
there
time
should be pressure on them.
Yeah, fine. I completely understand that, and I accept that, and I agree with that. But from the time that they've taken over till now, what change could there have been?
Well, maybe Frank could be gone. Maybe we have better players through the door. Maybe we'd be a bit more ambitious. The process to hiring Frank has been an absolute mess, clearly, because he's just not the right guy. Yeah,
but I'm talking about the time of the rebrand till now. That all came before the rebrand. At the time of the rebrand until now, that was the last day. I think it was just after the transfer window shut. Till right now, what change could we have realistically seen? I don't think we could have seen much apart from a Frank sacking. And a Frank sacking is not exactly a departure from what we saw pre-rebrand, because we used to sack managers willy-nilly pre-rebrand.
Okay,
so what could we have changed?
If Levy was still here, would it be right to be protesting? Because nothing has changed.
Correct.
Yeah? Right? So forget that. Forget whether Levy's gone or not. They're still ENIC. Same thing. So why should anything change? Why should they be under any less pressure than they would have been if Levy was still here? Because they're still the same company. Whether it's a different...
I understand that, but they've fine, but they've put forward this whole rebrand saying that everything's about to change, everything's going to get changed, everything's going to change.
Until it does, we're going to protest.
That's fair enough.
And once we see evidence of change, then the protest will stop. But I think, I think we've given it until January. No one's protested. Okay, there were big protests at the end of last season. They've given it a bit of time.
So why has no one protested then?
Because they'll just wait and see how it plays out, I guess. But I think, Stell said the protest shouldn't have stopped, and maybe he was right.
Yeah, but that's my whole point here is, like, if you're going to stop the protests, why start it now when nothing's changed?
Because we're still a circus.
Yeah, but we were still a circus all the way through. Like, why has this...
Or maybe it wouldn't have been. Well, we were waiting to see if it was still a circus.
But that's what I'm saying. There was nothing that could have changed in that period of time.
We're still making wrong decisions right now. Bad decisions.
So it's basically all on the Brennan Johnson sale and not having someone lined up. Is that what it's all on?
Continuing with Frank, I guess. We're acting the same. We're acting in the same manner in this transfer.
For me, I understand it. If the protest carried on, I understand it. But for a protest to come out of the blue, I guess it's not really out of the blue because of the way it's gone. But I don't understand what could have changed from the moment the rebrand happened till now.
It doesn't matter. It's still ENIC. So forget this rebrand. Just forget that. It's still ENIC. You just got to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It's still the same people. And from that point of view, from that lens, then why should they stop protesting until there's evidence of change?
Yeah, agreed. But we should have carried on protesting.
Yeah, maybe it was wrong to stop it. Maybe I can't answer that. But
that's my only question. In terms of the protest from now until the last protest, there hasn't been one for God knows how a good few months.
Yeah, and okay, but. Because maybe they thought maybe there was people bought into the rebrand. But I think that's bollocks, in my opinion. Or at least it should be treated as bollocks until proven otherwise, put it that way.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel, and I think absolutely right. And even if it's not about getting them out by any means necessary, blah, 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 the most important thing is it's visible and you're letting them know, well, we haven't forgotten. Like you've maybe from a PR standpoint trying to, give yourselves a free pass and trying to take the heat off you by getting rid of Levy. And don't get me wrong, we're all happy that Levy has left, but doesn't mean they're getting off scot-free. It doesn't mean we believe that this is now a new Tottenham Hotspur just because you're saying all these things. Let's put it into action. And until we see evidence of that into action, we're going to say this is unacceptable.
But Danny Kyriakou told us the bigger picture.
Bigger picture, I know. You're absolutely right. Maybe stop no more protesting, actually. Danny says bigger picture. We just can't see it, I think.
He told us Levy was a changed man.
ENIC's change, ENIC 2.0.
But look, I was willing to give them time. in terms of, they're coming out with all this lip service and they're coming out and telling us things are going to change. So is it right to give them that opportunity to show things have changed? And look, things haven't seemed to have changed. They seem to be worse than ever, to be honest. So I completely understand for the right for people to protest, but also it hasn't been enough time to maybe implement and see change. That's also a fair thing.
They don't have time.
Yeah.
They don't deserve it. I'm not saying we should be demanding them out and burning them at the stake. I'm just saying that they should be put under pressure to show the change. And until we see that change, there's no reason why we should be giving them a free pass.
Well, everyone get down to the protest then.
Damn right.
Everyone get down to the protest before the West Ham game. So we'll get Billy T on later this week and we'll get into the nitty-gritties of all of it, what it means, what's the messaging and everything like that. He's going to come on at some point this week. And it's important, if you feel that way, to get your voices heard on next Saturday. I think 3 o'clock kickoff it is. So, yeah. We're back here again.
Back at protesting. 6 months post Bilbao. No, not even. 7 months.
Yeah.
And we're back
we
at
all
protest,
know.
people.
We all know Bilbao was paping over a lot of cracks at this football club. That's the truth.
Yeah.
So that's that. Let's get into a couple of super chats.
Guy was Sam Barrow.
I can't see them on my screen.
Here, Sam Barrow.
Go on, you go through them then, because mine
The
they're not coming
board
up.
are arrogant and want their own Arteta. They've probably backed the wrong horse in Frank, but I think we've got a long time before he's out.
Yeah, I agree.
You think they're arrogant? The board are arrogant for wanting their own Arteta?
It's not
so smart?
It's not a case that they're arrogant for wanting their own Arteta. They're arrogant for thinking Frank is the Arteta.
Right.
Like, it's fair. Like, everyone wants a manager that they can believe in and see a long-term project with and everything like that. But when there's nothing to go on,
Yeah.
it's just like...
And you've seen as well, the results Frank has got compared to Arteta early on is way worse.
Yeah.
So, the evidence that he's our whatever is very limited. I think they've chosen him, and I think it's a flawed process, clearly, in my opinion, because one of the things was he plays attractive brand of football, blah, 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 and I don't think he does. And I think they need to review how they do those things. And, I don't know whether it's arrogance or foolishness or whatever you want to call it, but I agree. Jared Campbell, Ange interim, focus on Champions League. Players love him season 3. I'm all for it. I am all for it at this point.
Well, Ange interim to the end of the season.
For sure.
I mean, it can't get much worse.
Get some fun out of this.
We might actually go down if that happens, but who knows?
We might go down now.
True, we might go down now.
And at least we'll do it having some fun.
Will we, though?
Scoring some goals. Be interesting games.
I mean, yeah, that was true for a certain amount of time under Ange, but a lot of it was crap as well.
Yeah, true. But I'm willing to give it another go.
Like, a lot of it, we just walked, like, games were just so crap and boring to go to anyway, even under Ange. So this whole kind of thing about every game under Ange was, so exciting and we attacked every game and we took teams to the sword. It just wasn't the case.
Not every game. There were, I think, definitely end of last season, there were some very bad games. I agree with that.
A lot of last season. And even a lot of the season before wasn't that exciting. So there were games, obviously there were games where it was very exciting and we saw Spurs play some unbelievable stuff and some unbelievable football. But there were probably more games that were bad than they were good, and it was clear. Obviously, we lost 22 games last season, but yeah, look,
we don't want to relitigate why we lost 22 and why those performances were bad, but I think season 3. Look, this is what I was saying. The main thing is what I was saying about Ange, and now I think Frank is suffering from what Ange suffered from, in a sense that similar with Ange, Frank has never managed in Europe before, right? He's never.
Well, Ange did manage in Europe.
Yeah, for Celtic, okay, but in the Premier League, he's never managed 2 games a week often, and in terms of learning about your players, what the problems they're going to have playing your way, and you're going to have to learn some lessons. And I think Ange obviously learned some very harsh lessons last season about how he managed the squad and blah blah blah. And obviously we got through it and ended up winning Europa League. But Frank is learning those lessons now, in terms of the injuries that we've got and overplaying these players. And I'm sure if Frank stayed, he'd probably learn from that. But the problem with Frank is the football when we've had everything together has been awful. Whereas with Ange it was different. I thought it was pretty good. We played quite well most of the time when we had everyone together. I felt. But I think that was why as well a big reason I wanted to continue with Ange is because he'd learned from those, and I wanted to see him then learn those lessons going to the next season and adjust. But he never got that opportunity to do that. But now we've got a manager who also is inexperienced doing that, and so he's also now learning those lessons. And it's mind-boggling to me why we would swap out Ange for a manager who's also as inexperienced doing that, playing 2 games a week at that level. It's crazy to me, and he's learning the same lessons. It's nuts.
Look, the reality is we need a good, probably experienced head that has had kind of, that he's, tried and tested manager that's not Ange and not Frank, and someone that can give us a kind of, doesn't go too one way, doesn't go too the other way, somewhere that's like, somewhere nicely in the middle.
But that's, yes, but that's not where the extremes are in the middle. You do have to commit to something. Like Pep doesn't play in the middle, you know what I mean? He goes, they're a very attacking team. Same, even Arteta, that I know that at times they're pragmatic, but a lot of the time they look to dominate the ball and the pitch everywhere, all around the pitch. That's all they try to do. Yeah. And same with Liverpool last season, they were very attacking.
But you need the squad to do that.
Yeah, agreed. That's the main crux of the issue.
Yeah.
So, but for me, but my point being is, when you don't have the squad, right, then the goal should be to then up the quality of the squad, not change the approach. That's the difficulty I had. That should be the goal of the long term.
But you also need results in the short term as well.
I understand that, but you don't change the manager for a middle of the road approach because we're a middle of the road squad. That's such short term stupid thinking. What you do is you add quality to the squad and you up the quality and you keep the approach that's going to work long term at a top club.
But I'm not saying a middle of the road approach and just accept we're a middle of the road team.
Well, that's what Frank is.
Yeah, I understand that, and I don't think Frank's a long term answer at Tottenham Hotspur. But what I'm saying about someone in the middle, someone that focuses not just on what the opposition are doing, not just on keeping clean sheets, or not just on attack. We need someone that focuses on both equally as much. Whatever you want to say about Pep and Arteta, they still focus heavily on both attack and defence.
Yeah, I think Arteta definitely does. I think Pep less so. I think he's much more focused on attack than he's much more focused on control. Because if you control the game, you're going to defend less. That's his kind of approach. Mm-hmm. So you control the game with the ball, and you won't have to do that much defending. And the defending will
But in recent years, he's kind of evolved a bit more and have focused a bit more on his defensive structure and his defensive side of the game.
A bit more, yeah. I think he's done a bit more of that, I would say. But I think for a long time it wasn't.
Yeah. But he evolves over time, Pep. Right. Every year he's non-stop evolving.
Right. And so I would like to give that a manager opportunity to do that. But anyway, we're not going to do that. I would say, I'd love a Nagelsmann. Someone like him. That would be brilliant. Ian, JD, do you guys trust this board to make these right choices for this club anymore? If the answer is no, then there's just no point sacking Frank.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, they made the decision to sack Frank, so from that point of view, if that was the wrong decision...
What do you mean they made the decision to sack Frank?
So I mean to appoint Frank,
Yeah.
So if I don't trust them, I don't trust that Frank's the right guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're stuck between a rock and a hard. But I agree. Sacking Frank and then giving them the opportunity to appoint another manager is also not a great situation, given their track record.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, until we're convinced that they're going to make the right decisions, like, what is the point of even sacking Frank?
What is the point of it? Yeah, I don't know. Because it's just so bad. I can't watch this football, honestly. It's so bad.
Well, we had 25 minutes yesterday.
Yeah.
We had half an hour against Bournemouth. You know, it's slightly getting better at times.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, you were complaining about, I don't even enjoy the goals we're seeing. I bet you've enjoyed the goals over the last couple of games.
Yeah, been some nice goals. Have been some nice goals, to be fair. True. Danny Kiriakou says Thomas Frank will get a contract extension. God, really backing him. Philip Peter says, if we won the Champions League, would Frank get season 2? 100%. Of course he would. We can go down and win the Champions League. We'll get season 2.
If Frank wins the Champions League, he goes down as our best manager ever.
He wins the Champions League. Give him a contract extension. I'll watch all the shit football you want if you get the Champions League.
8 points to go in the Premier League, people, till we can bin it off. That's all I'm saying.
We Are Spurs TV says, when we had a fully fit squad, we gave Palace their first win, and versus Ipswich we also almost a fit squad. Stop rewriting history. Yes, we had some bad defeats as well. We would lose games as well. We didn't win every game, but when we did win, we were winning with beautiful football, winning 4-5-1, beat Man City, beat United, beat Villa, beat West Ham, beat Everton, all by 3 or more goals. We were smashing teams. Yeah, we also had some bad defeats. It wasn't perfect, but much better than now.
It is much better than now.
When we had a fully fit team. And also, he gave Palace their first win. Look at Palace. They went on to win the FA Cup and they're a very good team.
Yeah.
Just because they had the first win doesn't mean they're a bad team.
We're always the catalyst for every team's good runs.
True.
We gave Aston Villa their first win in ages this season as well.
True. But I'm saying the Palace were never this team that were rubbish.
What, Ipswich?
Yeah, Ipswich were a bad team. But they did beat Chelsea as well last season.
Yeah, we lost to Leicester at home last season as well.
Yeah, Leicester wasn't a good one. But we were also injury ravaged at that point.
Oh, the injuries are not an excuse to lose to that Leicester team. Man, that Leicester team was shocking.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that.
All right, let's go and see how the internet did react to the game yesterday. We're just lining it up for you guys, and here we are. First up is from Villa Statos, in quotes saying Spurs dominated the second half. And yeah, Villa got more XG than us and the same amount of shots on target.
One more big chance, more passes, more possession.
Yeah, I do think that's one of the cases where, you know, the eye test overlooks the stats on the day, because I just thought we looked so much more threatening than Villa in that secsecond half.
Well, they did have a shot cleared off the line.
It's true, they did, yeah.
And that was a good
I'm not
chance.
saying they didn't create anything, but I just felt like...
We did for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it didn't. Then we didn't.
I think like for 20 minutes, and then for the next 15 minutes, like the game kind of neutralised, but I think Spurs still looked slightly more dangerous, I would say, and then the last 10 minutes, I think Villa were the better team.
Well, I think if that's us really dominating... Did we dominate? We dominated 20 minutes. Did we dominate the half? That's up for debate, I guess.
I guess. Hotspur reports, so this is the Richarlison, him biting back to... It was actually Chris Cowlin that put out the post.
Brilliant.
So who said funny. That? Fuck off.
Poor Chris.
Oh, God. So Dom Solanke put up a nice post on Instagram after the game saying, 6 months later, I'm finally back where I belong, playing freely. Thank you for your reception today, and I can't wait to get back out there already. And yeah, it was a really nice reception for Solanke when he came on the pitch yesterday. The whole of the stadium rise to their feet and give him a nice ovation.
Yeah, it was great to see him back. It was great to see that he exists, he's alive, and he's back and going to be an option for us. And we're going to need him desperately now.
So funny. If anyone saw the vlog, like that was completely a natural reaction, both from me and Dave. We both just turned to the camera, just shout, "He's alive! He's alive! He's alive!" It's crazy.
All those rumours about him put to bed, I think.
Yeah. Simon Yamene says, despite playing better, another game not even reaching a 1 XG. Yeah, it is crazy.
I think, there's a stat there. Will come later. 15 of our 27 games. We haven't.
Shocking. No context Tottenham, just a tombstone with season over 10th of January 2026.
Is that premature?
Not really.
Not really.
Not really. I mean, what have we got to play for this season?
Europe, getting back in Europe and Champions League. We are still in the Champions League, people forget.
Yeah. I guess, look, barring a miracle, the season's over.
Yeah, essentially.
Like,
would it be a miracle to get back in the European spots?
The way things are going, yeah.
Well, we're playing, yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
And not only that, the injuries as well.
Yeah, you're right. The injuries is a big issue. I don't know how we get over that at the moment.
Look, put it this way. Even if we get 4 points over the next 2 games, I think Europe becomes like an absolute myth, because all those games I spoke about before, like I can't. If we're being very generous, we see 2 wins in that period. If we're being very generous, so if that is the case, then Europe is an absolute myth.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Trevor Lloyd says people still defending Frank, saying the manager deserves some credit for the second half. No, he doesn't. It's not good look for any manager when your first half tactic gets chucked out because they stink and you let the team express themselves. See, on another day, I might have more sympathy for him and more credit, and he gets more credit. But because of what we've seen all season, and because the first half is more similar to what we've seen the majority of games this season, he gets no credit for the second half, in my opinion.
I agree. Like, that's the kind of football we want to be seeing on a regular basis, and he should be able to provide that more often than not. It should be. That's kind of the rule, and the exception is we're dross. But at the moment, the rule is we're dross, and the exception is we look half decent sometimes. Yeah.
Spurs Statman says that's now 15 out of 27 games this season, finishing an under 1 XG.
So, yeah, only 12. That means only 12 we've had over 1. It's crazy.
Frank Era says Thomas Frank has won 5 of his last 20 matches as Spurs manager. That is shocking, man.
5 of 20.
That's madness.
God, lucky he had a good start, eh?
Yeah.
In terms of wins, anyway.
Well, we got the 2 wins, was it, against Manchester City and
Burnley.
We were
having that conversation, I think it was after Everton in October. Oh, we're 3rd in the league.
Yeah,
Look
true.
how great we're doing.
Yeah.
Lucky, and then since then it's just fallen to absolute shit.
Yeah. The Spurs Statman as well, and couple more views to show that despite the goal and the 20-minute spell in the second half, the final result was justified.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can really say we deserve to go through, can they?
No, we definitely didn't deserve to go through.
And look, you see what that big drop-off was in the second half.
That was when Scarlett came on.
That's Tell coming off, yeah. And I think that literally tells the story of the game, I think. That's perfect. It's a perfect telling story of the game, I would say.
Yeah, and a lot of it was managerial decisions. The first half, I think players definitely come into question and definitely are to blame somewhat, but I think majority of it is the way that we were set up by the manager. We come out, shackles are off. Credit to Frank, credit to the players for the way they kind of dominated Villa for that 20-minute period. But then again, manager decisions swing the momentum in the other way.
Also felt though, look, as I think this graph exemplifies, I actually think the Odegaard goal did actually come out a bit out of the blue. It wasn't like it was momentum. I felt like that came out of the blue and then we went for it, like after we got the goal. Like that goal really boosted us. But I didn't really see that goal coming before it came.
Well, just before he scored, didn't we have that Javi shot? Or was that just after?
No, just after.
Just after. Fair enough. Stokey G says an even better angle as João Palhinha and Morgan Rogers clashed at full time. I mean, yeah, it really got a bit nasty at full time.
So who's to blame here? So they're saying Ollie Watkins. He
walked into him celebrating. Yeah, look at it.
Oh yeah, he does.
And look how Ollie Watkins doesn't even look back as João Palhinha. Like, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, Ollie Watkins.
He's antagonising, and Palhinha ain't having any of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because they're unhappy with João with the challenges he was making, probably.
Yeah, exactly. So Ollie Watkins was hoping for that situation to brawl out. Yeah, that's the sole aim of it, and he's right in front of the away fans as well. So, is what it is. Statmuse FC says Tottenham this season in domestic competitions, 14th in the Premier League, out the FA Cup, out the Carabao Cup. Ange died for this. When are we just going to stop speaking about Ange, man?
We're still speaking about Poch.
It's true.
Hello, Ange. What are you talking about?
To be honest, we're still talking about Keith Birkinshaw.
God.
Yeah, it is very true, to be honest. Jake says it's crucial that we are able to compete on multiple fronts and believe a change of approach will give us the strongest chance for coming season and beyond.
So this was the quotes.
Yeah.
And now this is the result.
Yeah. Do you feel from a bit, at least, that he's had a bit of a rough ride in the Cups in terms of the draws?
Yeah, it's not been easy draws, to be fair. To be fair to him. So from that point of view, he's not been dealt a great hand. Who did Ange go out? He went out to Liverpool and he went out to...
Yeah, semi-final, though, against Liverpool.
Semi-final and...
Villa. But then
but Ange also did beat City United, didn't he?
Yeah. The previous year, he went out to Fulham in the second round, which was shocking.
Yeah.
And the Carabao Cup, who did he go? City.
FA Cup, we went out to City.
Yeah. FA Cup City in the third round, wasn't it? Fourth round. Bloody hell. So the last 3 years, 2 fourth rounds and a third round.
Not being good in domestic.
Jesus, man. How is it? How have we got to this stage where in 1991 we broke the record for most amount of FA Cup wins? We haven't been to an FA Cup final since.
Semi-finals are getting a while. 2018, right?
Oh, sixth round is getting a while.
Semi-final, the last year, 2018 against United. So we're coming up now to...
But since then, have we been past the fifth round?
Don't know. Sheffield United was what? Well, we lost to Sheffield United.
I think that was fifth round.
Was it?
That's what I'm saying. Have we been past the fifth round since then? Have we been to a quarter final since then?
Yeah.
No, we haven't.
Nuts.
We've been terrible.
It's now coming. It's getting near to 10 years since our last semi-final.
Yeah. Harry Brooks says Tell played for Bayern Munich at 16, France under-21 captain despite all the generational talent. Moani played in a World Cup final, scored goals for Juve last season, cost PSG 100 million. Javi cost 50 million plus, starts for Holland, excelled in the Bundesliga Eredivisie and came through at Barcelona and PSG. Odegaard consistently performs for France under-21s, has performed at very high levels in Major League Football before 20. Gray, England under-21 international, 100 plus, I think, first team appearances before 20. Paulinho, Portugal international, brought by Bayern Munich for 30 million less than 2 years ago. Porro starts for Spain, linked with Madrid. Van der Ven starts for Holland, linked with Madrid. I could go on. These are not bad players at all. I mean, yes, it's true. Like, they're not terrible players, but also Tell was let go by Bayern Munich and they were pretty much begging us to take him. Kolo Muani failed at PSG and they want to get rid of him.
Juve wanted to keep him, though.
Yeah, Juve did want to keep him, but it's not like Juve are going through the best time of it at the moment. Javi was obviously let go by PSG and Barcelona, but he has excelled since leaving there. Odegaard, obviously, he came from Burnley and he does decent for France under-21s, but, you know, this is kids' football at the end of the day. It's under-21 football. And look, a lot of these players, like, I get it, like, they're better, they're decent players, but I think this tweet's trying to make out that they're better than they are.
Not at all. He says they're not bad players at all. People are saying the whole narrative was it's just so bad. These players are just awful. It's all the players. They're not bad players. That's the point.
No, I agree with that, to be fair. I do agree with that.
And I just hate this narrative after everything else that these players are just awful, blah, blah, blah. They don't like this, they don't like that. Look, the players have to take some responsibility as well, don't get me wrong. But I just think the whole narrative of it's just an awful squad. It's just so bad that this is the best that Frank can do. Frank is just so hamstrung. It's like, I get it, there are better players out there, but they've got a lot of potential, a lot of quality. Like, he's got much more quality than people give him credit for.
I saw the conversation you were having with Danny last night.
Oh, yeah, Danny.
Seemed like an absolute car crash to be. Like, both Nick and Danny agreed that they would prefer to see. So basically, the quality of drop off is bigger in the attack from last season to this season and defence.
They said it was the same. I was going crazy. I was like, what are you talking about? I just couldn't believe what they were saying. Like, and they think that there was a good point.
I don't believe they actually think that. They can't actually think that. They can't. It's not true. Like, I don't believe that. I just they just couldn't have understood like what
they must have. Oh, that's.
Like, I don't believe that. Like, how can you think?
I tried to put it very plainly.
No, they couldn't have believed that. Like, surely no one in this world believes that. It's not possible.
They think Gray and Davis and Forster is the same as having Kudus, Xavi and Moani up front.
No, it's not possible. It can't be.
That's what he seems to believe. They said they think this season we've got a better team than last season. The last season we had a better team than this season. That's what he said, and they were very confident in that opinion. I wonder how many other people think that. I think it's crazy.
I think it's nuts. I think it's absolutely nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, next up is No Context Tottenham. Spurs forming the Backstreet Boys.
What do you think? Well, how do you think the kit came off in person?
It was lovely.
Yeah,
really nice. Yeah, I thought it looked really good. Yeah, nice, clean, no names on the back either.
Yeah,
a bit of a throwback. I loved it.
Some people have said it looks like inside-out pajamas.
The only problem I have with it is that, again, Gooner infiltration, man. Like, this is what Arsenal have done, this exact kit over the last 3 years
against knife crime.
Yeah, in the third round of the FA Cup. Is it any coincidence that Vinay has come in and done this exact same thing in the first year?
I see it. I see where you're coming from. I see you, Vinay. He's trying to. It's too much Gooner infiltration here.
That's the only reason I didn't like it. But in terms of aesthetically, I thought it was aesthetically pleasing. But
he's keeping Frank because he wants it to be Arteta.
And by the way, I don't think Arsenal won one game in that white kit.
They haven't. They've been an awful record. And now we've carried on.
Jesus, man. Vinay, man. No Context Tottenham. XG. The Grim Reaper has come. Cup run. He's come. Thomas Frank. We're knocking on the door.
See you next. Are they knocking on the door, though? That's the question.
Yeah.
Are they knocking on the door?
Can't run forever.
No, you're right. You're right.
Nathan Clark saying, delete file. Are you sure you want to delete the file? Last save, overwrite, backup. I mean, if this was an FM season, I'm definitely doing that.
100%. When was the last save? Because I can't be going through this anymore. What have I done? I've had so many bad decisions. I need to overwrite this. This can't go on.
Stokey G, he's an Arsenal fan. Thomas Frank, this chant being sung by both sets of fans in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So I'm not sure if that was sung by both sets of fans because I did not hear that in the South Stand. Sounds like it to me.
That is the away end. That's for the fans. Maybe it was sung by fans in the north.
Maybe, but definitely not in the south where I was. That's all I can say.
And if it were Spurs fans singing it?
Then what?
Is it disgrace? Is it banter? What is it?
I think it's more banter, to be honest, but it's a horrible look.
Frank's just got to
it's
take
a horrible look. What else can he do?
Yeah.
What else can he do?
Should have been asked about it. Are you an Arsenal fan, Thomas? Can I see your cup today, Thomas?
I saw someone put out a tweet with a Tottenham cup in their hand saying, this is the cup you need to be using, Thomas. See, we've got enough of them here. Tottenham Independent transfer story saying, even the BBC cameraman is Frank out.
I saw actually a great comment before about the cup situation saying only Arsenal would be sad enough to bring their own cups to a game and only Tottenham would be Tottenham enough to carry
It's
the
so
cup.
true, man. It's so true. It's just like, we are literally the gift that keeps on giving to everyone. Like, even in stupid things like that, like, it wouldn't happen at any other club.
Mm-hmm.
Only Tottenham, man. It's ridiculous.
Fantastic. Yeah, but the cameraman with a great shot, he's getting ready for the... is that what they're going to use when they make the announcement, that shot?
James Ollie just telling us about the Thomas Frank Arsenal chant again. Tottenham Independent transfer story says, Frank got us playing football from 1901. Lovely tribute.
I wish we were playing push and run. What happened? I wish we were.
Yeah, that came long after 1901, I'll tell you that. 1901, we were a non-league side and won the FA Cup.
But according to Frank, football hasn't moved on from then. Still long ball, hoof it, second balls.
We don't even win the second balls.
No, we don't.
Spurs Watch saying, damning. Spurs lack the killer pass. Most through balls in the Premier League this season. Spurs. Morgan Rogers has more through balls than Tottenham Hotspur this season.
There are 9 players who have more through balls than Tottenham this season.
I know, I saw the
9
stat.
players.
It's crazy, man.
Look how so bloody hell, Man City have 7 times the amount of through balls we have.
Yeah.
Even Wolves are 5 more than us. We're so far cut adrift of the through ball table.
If you look at as well through ball table over the last 2 years, we must be so far cut adrift from bottom. It's crazy. Because like we were 15th last season. So yeah, no context. Tottenham. Even Kevin Danso was telling Thomas Frank where to put the players. Like we're trying to channel our inner Europa League Cup run.
Is that the Amorim shot, the Ruben Amorim shot?
Yeah, literally. Frank's like, these are the tactics, and Danso's moving them around saying, no, these are the tactics.
He's like, actually, no, let's go forward a bit. He's like, no. We went forward too much.
God, such a sorry state of affairs at Tottenham Hotspur right now. But look, that is the way the internet did react to the game. And I think that's it, people. That's it from us today. We'll see you all very soon. We hope and dream for better days, and hopefully Spurs get a signing sooner rather than later, because we need all the help that we can get right now. But thank you, everyone.
There's one interesting thing here from Paul O'Keefe saying Paratici wanted Igor Tudor as interim if they sack Frank, and he's off because he's got a new bird. Head's gone.
Who's got a new bird?
Paratici, I'm guessing.
Oh, I see.
What a mess! Late midlife crisis.
So he's got a new girlfriend, so that's why he's leaving.
That's what he clapped. That's what Paul O'Keefe is claiming.
Oh my God! When things can't get worse, man.
He's had his head turned. He's had his head turned in the villa.
And she's like, yeah, I want to live in Florence.
Yeah.
Florence is a lovely place.
They're 20th, babe. They're 20th. I don't care about that. You come to Florence, I'm leaving you. He's like, God, I'm going to have to keep these lot up. And so he wanted, but he's confirming that Fabio wanted him gone. He wanted Igor Tudor to come in as interim.
Well, it's not too different to what we've been hearing of him wanting
Igor
Frank
Tudor,
gone.
though. He got sacked by Juve. God. Wow.
Well, what's there to say to that, man?
A bombshell.
So Fabio Paratici is gone.
Says, get in there, lad. To be fair, the amount of just sadness this club brings you. Just go get some happiness, Fabio. I'm happy for you. Go get some happiness.
Yeah, as long as you're happy, Fabio. Don't worry about us, mate. Don't worry about us.
All we're going to do is drag you down and cause you misery. Hopefully she doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. The longer you stay here, the less of an attractive proposition you become to that girl anyway, because it just drags down the mood.
Fancy London? What's wrong with London?
Yeah, the flashing lights of London, man.
No. Fabio wasn't familiar with your game.
Can't you play both sides, Fabio? Like, come on, man.
Keep her on the hook. Oh, I'll move soon. Just give me one more year. He's giving us a transfer window, then he's off to settle down.
He ain't settling down.
There's always another thing in the pipeline with Fabio. There's always another deal.
I can't believe he's leaving because he got a girlfriend. What is this club? Seriously, what is this club?
Our sporting director found a date, so he's leaving. Sorry. God, I'm just so in love.
Jesus, man.
Oh, man. He can always find another girl, says Hotspur. Well, apparently not. This is the love of his life.
It's just his excuse to get out, isn't
Yeah,
it?
100%.
It's just his
You
excuse.
think if we were flying high, he leaves us for a girl?
So when they cite personal reasons,
Yeah.
these are the personal reasons.
Yeah, this is the personal
Nothing bad has happened. It's just he's got a girlfriend and she just wants to be in Florence.
There is no chance of things are going great. He leaves.
Oh, you know what? You know what, babe? There's a job opening in Fiorentina, 20th in the league. It looks good.
Yeah. God.
God, the gift that keeps on giving. Just not to us. When are we going to get the gifts? Ridiculous, man. Absolutely
This club
ridiculous.
honestly, it's a
We're a meme. That's all we are.
we're a simulation. That's what it is. It's a simulation.
They call us Tottenham Hot Meme.
God, absolute simulation. Oh, well, there's a couple more super chats actually.
Yeah, go on.
Conan Taki says, "Has Frank been fired yet?
Not yet.
Maybe if he gets a girlfriend." We just need to set Frank up on some dates. Maybe I'll get him out.
Frank settled down with a wife, surely. You know.
Get him some piece on the side. This is crazy. Love Music 5504 says, Nuno and Scott Parker, Dr. Tottenham will see you now. Oh, it's so true. Those are our next two games. We're obviously going to give them their first wins, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Oh my God. It's so obviously going to happen. And Callum Chiandel says, would you guys know what the latest day that we could finalise a transfer, medical and paperwork for them to be available for West Ham? Probably Friday.
Friday morning, I think it is, yeah.
Are we playing
before 12
Saturday
o'clock, I think. We're playing Saturday, 3 o'clock,
yeah. So it'll be Friday, midday, yeah. Don't get your hopes up. I wouldn't get your hopes up, Callum.
We are Sunday, so you got a whole
True,
week pretty much.
whole week.
But I did not have on my bingo card today talking about Fabio Paratici's romance life, love life.
That's it, and that's where we're at. That is where we're at. We need to sow some doubts in the relationship. Maybe we'll get him back.
He's never coming back.
He's never coming back.
This is just there's probably no girl. He's probably made up this girl. You know, he's probably made her up.
She goes to another school. You wouldn't know.
He's completely made this up. It's probably completely fabricated. It's just his way of getting out of the club.
God. Absolutely fantastic.
But anyway, we'll see you all very, very soon, people. Anything that breaks, we'll be bringing it to you first here on We Are Tottenham TV. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.